Fantastic. मतलब visible का question was not for you guys. Am I clearly visible? You guys also become visible fast, and you can hear me. You're saying yes for visible, मतलब you can hear me. Chalo, very good. Let's go ahead. We'll now go and finish our chapter. Chapter is not unilateral. कुछ भी. Chapter is not unilateral. Chapter is double taxation relief. So we are doing a chapter called double taxation relief. The faster you answer, the better it is for you and me both. Double taxation will take place in two ways. What are the two ways of double taxation? Juridical double taxation and economic double taxation. Because globally there are two principles of levy of tax. The two global principles of levy of tax are principle of residence and principle of source. Because of that, there can be juridical double taxation or economic double taxation. What is the definition of economic double taxation? Different person paying tax twice on the same income, and because from your pocket it is going only once, and plus it is in the nature of punishment. No relief. Economic double taxation over. What is juridical double taxation? Same person on the same income is getting taxed twice, because both tax liabilities are being paid from your pocket. We will give you relief here, and this relief can be granted in two ways. What are the two ways? Bilateral relief and unilateral relief, when both governments cooperate with each other and enter into an agreement. Matlab there will be DTAA only under bilateral relief. Under unilateral there is not going to be any DTAA. Bilateral cooperation. And now by the end we realize that bilateral ke andar the calculation will be agreement specific. Everything will change from agreement to agreement. So that way, if they want to ask, they have to give that clause of the agreement. So they rarely ask question on bilateral relief, and all the common points we have completed. Like what, sir? There will be relief. There will be exchange of information. There will be non-discrimination, but benefit will not be available to corporate assessee. We also studied the concept of tax residency certificate. We said that we will not allow resident of third states to misuse the benefit. So everything that is possible. The two methods of providing relief: tax credit method, tax exemption method. Which method will we follow, and who will give credit or exemption? Everything will depend on the agreement. Correct? And this agreement is also known as treaty or convention. And one more time, the thing is that there is not going to be, or hardly or rarely going to be, any question on bilateral relief, but still there will be question on this chapter almost every exam. Sorry, bilateral pen nahi, then on what? Ladies and gentlemen, the concept of unilateral relief under section 91. Bilateral relief ka questions they don't ask. Any problem? Sound mein, video mein nahi na. Somebody is messaging plus sign in the chat box. Is this some Gen Z code? No, just asking. Kuch plus sign ka there is some code? No. I learned a few terms like slaking, for real, cringe. Ye plus sign is no Gen Z term, right? हाँ तो काम धंधा focus please. Bilateral relief में section 90 and 90A only speak about providing the relief. The calculation will be given in the treaty. But under unilateral relief, the calculation is given in the law itself, in the Income Tax Act ka section 9. So that way this section becomes more important because it is a part of the Income Tax Act. One. Second, that means this is in your syllabus obviously. And third, on this only they ask questions. Unilateral relief, whenever there is non-cooperation between the two governments. What kind of non-cooperation are we talking about? If Modi ji is calling, that other leader is not answering the phone. Rare though these days. Answering but not sitting on a table to discuss terms. That also is rare. The most likely is when they are not accepting each other's terms. Then there will be no treaty. And I already told you, 40% of the world, even today, roughly 80 countries, round figure, even today do not have a double taxation avoidance agreement with India. And in those cases, what is going to happen is if we pick up that same, hey, what do you think? If you sit on that bench, I will not roast you. Well, you can, I don't give you permission, I am anyways going to do it. If that same, you remember his New Zealand trip? If that same example, 100 ka income, tax of 30 in India and 40 in New Zealand, together we want to reduce 70. If there is a treaty, both governments will together. If there is no treaty, then unfortunately government of India is saying we are not going to be able to do anything to that tax which you are paying in New Zealand. Maximum what we can do is under this section, because we are levying tax under income tax. So under this section, we will reduce the tax that you are paying us. In other words, we will give you relief not from 70 but from 30, which is still a reduction of your overall tax liability. And that is the concept of unilateral relief. I just have to teach you the calculation of unilateral relief. But before we go to the calculation, there are some conditions. Unilateral relief will be given against your Indian tax liability under section 91, only against your Indian tax liability under section 91 if you fulfill 4 conditions. A, B, C, D. Unilateral relief will be given if you fulfill 4 conditions. Sir, if you ask me if they are cumulative conditions, yes, that means you have to fulfill all 4. But to be very, very honest, the first condition is actually a condition. The other 3 are comedy. Time pass. Only the first condition is an actual genuine condition. If at all you have to take home anything from here for the purpose of your exam, if I ever ask you, when will you get unilateral relief? You just answer this. Means you have to learn only this one condition. You are going to get unilateral relief only if you are a resident. Unilateral relief will be given only to residents. Non-residents will be ineligible, disqualified from getting unilateral relief. Main condition, only thing that you have to take home from here for exam, if I ever ask you, when will you get unilateral relief? Only one thing you have to say, resident. Even if you don't say the other 3 conditions, there is no problem. Unilateral relief will be given only if you are resident. That means who will not get it? Non-resident. This is the law. This is the answer to the question, what is the law? What is the law? Only resident will get, non-resident will not get the relief. But there is going to be one difference between us and the others. If I have to call myself the best in my subject, I have to first make you the best in the subject. If you are not the best in the subject across the country, then I am nothing. And therefore, that one extra thing, that will be our contribution, irrespective of the fact that later you want to make your career in audit, because you are already used to free food, free travel. But at least you will start liking tax a bit because you will start understanding. What simple rule of life is that if you understand, you like. I'm talking about the law, not people. If you understand, you start liking automatically. You agree with this? So we will discuss why. Why? So understand what is happening. Resident means somebody who normally stays here is going and earning income outside India. See, if he is not earning income outside India, where is the question of double taxation? If he is resident here, that means source has to be outside. Then only India will levy tax as per principle of residence, the home country, and that other country will levy tax as per principle of source, the host country. That only can trigger double taxation. Means one thing everyone agrees, that this is a person who is going outside, earning money, and you know what, bro? Bringing that money to India. This is someone who is bringing foreign money to India. Are we extremely proud of such people? Fantastic. Excellent. But yes, this process of bringing foreign money to India is resulting in double taxation. Because we are levying tax on the principle of, and they will levy tax on the principle of. If that government was cooperating with us, we would have certainly given you bilateral relief under the treaty. But we have a problem here. There is no treaty. And because there is no treaty, we cannot do anything about that government's tax liability. All we can do something is what you are paying us, because we are proud of you. You are bringing foreign money to our country. That is the reason only residents are eligible. Think about non-resident. Now, non-resident ka is a role reversal. Resident of some other country. Matlab that country is living principle of residence. And therefore, India ka tax will come only if, come on. Source means you are coming from another country, earning money in my country, taking that money and going away. Then you have to pay us tax. Even if your country is levying residence-based tax, still we will take source-based. Achha, by chance, your country was ready to have cooperation with us, then as per the treaty, we would have granted some relief. But your country is not bothered to have any treaty with us. And you are taking away money from our country, pay our share and get lost. The difference between a resident and a non-resident is that a resident is bringing foreign money here and a non-resident is taking away Indian money outside. Obviously, we will give tax benefit under section 91 only to resident. Logic है, logic से बड़ा कुछ नहीं, nothing is bigger than logic. If you know the reason behind creation of any law, then you don't have to learn it. Control S. And this you must be knowing. Audit Control S. And from last year's audit report, Control C and Control V also, all the formats, so that you only have to do the data entry of the manually entered figures. Formulas so previous people have already saved for you. Fantastic. Time taken to format an audit report is more than actually doing the audit. Format, then Control P, print preview, margins, zoom in, zoom out, landscape, portrait. नहीं आया, छोड़, waste paper for eating lunch. Next, है ना? Relatable. So you understood the logic why unilateral relief is given only to residents. And now look at the other conditions. Unilateral relief will be given only if you have income outside India. Bah, Modi ji, bah. Bah. Bro, use your brain and understand. If you are resident here, then for double taxation to arise, there has to be income outside India. I mean, this is not a condition for getting unilateral relief. Without this, there cannot be double tax. And there cannot be unilateral relief or bilateral relief without double tax. So obviously there has to be income outside. Fantastic. Next, there has to be tax also outside India. Wow. Matlab, time please. The clarification is, are you having income in a foreign country? That country should levy tax on the source. Because there are some countries which don't have tax. Supposingly resident in India has income in Dubai. And that country is not levying tax. There is no double tax. Relief can come only if there is double tax. These two together are actually going to result in double tax. So without this, there is no question of unilateral or bilateral. So this cannot be considered as a condition of getting unilateral. Without this, there will never be kya bro? Double taxation only. So this can't be or will not be learned as a condition for unilateral. For unilateral, you have to learn only one thing. What bro? And finally, last condition, that there should be no DTAA, double taxation avoidance agreement, treaty, convention. Kitne tejasvi log. Achha, listen to this statement. See if you can understand this. The law is basically telling you, if there is treaty, if there is treaty, we will not give you unilateral relief. Bole gadeda. If there is treaty, I don't want unilateral relief. Why? Because then I am getting bilateral relief now. Matlab, this is condition to trigger double tax. Without this, there is no double tax. And this is condition to escape or leave bilateral. And when these three things happen, then only I am interested in this topic. Otherwise, I am not interested only. And therefore, once I enter the concept of unilateral relief, the only condition that I have to check, by the way, as students of CA final exam, you just learn this condition, go home safely. You have my permission. What to leave, what not to leave will depend on what I will tell you. ऐसा नहीं कहता, sir has said कि ये छोड़ दो, that we are definitely leaving. Then from what he has told us to do properly, उसमें से we will filter out this much additional filters. नहीं. Filters look good only when वो Snapchat. इधर कोई filter नहीं है. Either if I tell you to leave something, you leave it. And now you realize why I call these conditions comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, unilateral relief under section 91 will be given only upon one condition, that you are a resident. Now that we have understood the meaning of unilateral relief, now we will go and learn calculation of unilateral relief. with the help of two examples. First, we will take an easy example. Then we will go to a complicated example. Could you please repeat which part? Non-cooperation part. Non-cooperation is nothing but this one. Because there is no DTAA, that means there is no cooperation. If there was cooperation, they would have entered into an agreement. So this fourth condition itself is not. If you want, you can remove this. There are four conditions. In that also, you have to learn only the resident part. I started by telling you about non-cooperation primarily because I wanted you to know when we will think about unilateral. So in the presence of treaty, we will not even think. Correct? Example 1, the easy example. Mr. S, resident, age 35 years. This data is relevant, no bro? क्यों? आपका है? हाँ ठीक है. As of now 35, few months बाकी है 36. हाँ, so point ये है that it is not relevant for me. It is relevant with the help of this. You calculate your tax slabs. Which slab is applicable? Which category of individual it is? That is why. He has got now with the example of the income. No, this does not become my case. I'll tell you how. This Mr. S has got Indian income of rupees 8 lakh. Bro, in India I am below basic exemption. And this Mr. S has got foreign income. Say it's a country A. It has to be some foreign country. Country A, 7 lakh rupees. So it can't be me because in India I am below basic exemption limit. There is no question of foreign income. It is some Mr. S. Okay. Indian income 8 lakh. Foreign income 7 lakh. This foreign country has levied tax on him at source 10%. The country in which he has earned this 7 lakh has levied tax of 10% on this 7 lakh on the principle of source, because source of this 7 lakh is country A. Country A has levied 10% tax. And bad news in the life of Mr. S is that India does not have a double taxation avoidance agreement with that country. That's a case of non-cooperation. No deal. And this is where we will go and learn the calculation of unilateral relief. My first question is there double taxation? Because the question of granting relief arises only in cases of double taxation. Agar double taxation nahi, if there is no double taxation, there is no question of granting any relief. Then let's talk about 8 lakh. Is it taxable in India? Residence as well as source. Is it taxable anywhere else? No. So till now he has paid tax only in India. Sure. Let's talk about 7 lakh. Is it taxable in that foreign country? Obviously on the basis of source and tax rate is given to us. And foreign ka tax rate will always be given to you. But is this taxable in India? Kya ye? Haan. He is a resident and he has to pay tax on global income. So is this taxable? Yes. That means is this 7 lakh getting taxed in India as well as country? Let's see. Same person, same income, getting taxed twice. This becomes a case of not just double taxation, but you actually say juridical double taxation, and therefore assessee will be eligible for relief. Haan, so fantastic. Go read the treaty and grant the relief. There is no DTAA, and therefore in the absence of DTAA, we shall be unable to grant any bilateral relief. And if we are not able to grant any bilateral relief, then the option remaining with us is unilateral relief. And at this stage, there is only one thing that you check for unilateral relief. Is he a resident? Because you know what? Yes, there are other conditions. But in this much discussion, whether there is double taxation or no, we have already checked our other conditions. We have checked that there is income outside India, there is tax outside India, and there is no DTAA. That means by the time you reach unilateral relief, you got to check only one thing. What thing, bro? Whether the assessee is, and is the assessee resident? Yes, eligible for unilateral relief. Matlab we have till now verified the conditions. Now we will go to the calculation. There are two ways of doing this calculation, learning this calculation. Just like I explained to you the logic of why resident. You know, I always have this one way of explaining things. I can always say for anything, it is written in the law. Lama like kuche, as Gujus would like it. For everything, there can be one answer. It is written in the law. But the question is why? The logic. Same policy we follow here. I can simply tell you step number 1, step number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sixth step is my relief. You just have to follow these steps and you will get your relief. But I don't want to do that kind of work here. I want you all to understand what is the logic behind these steps. So first understand the concept, because if the concept is clear now, you will be able to solve not just this question but any other question. They don't copy questions from here and ask in exam. Questions come in exam and we copy from them to make our additional question. So we have to take our knowledge to a level where we can actually go before ICAI and tell them that I am ready for everything. Bring it on, baby. I am ready for anything and everything. The concept something. Okay. Is this going to be his total taxable income in India? Matlab in India he has to pay tax on this. If we were not studying the chapter, that means full 15 lakh is taxable. That means there will be some tax on this income and there will be some tax on this income, because this is the total. So total tax is on total income. That means 8 lakh and 7 lakh both have some tax. Unless they are exempt under some provision in India. In the absence of data, they have to be taxable. And out of this total tax, the tax that you are paying on 8 lakh, no problem. Because you are paying only in India. But are you paying some tax on 7 lakh? And on that same 7 lakh, you have also paid tax in country A. So you have to do what? Find out the tax that you are paying in India on 7 lakh. Find out the tax that you are paying in country A on 7 lakh. Country A, they will always give you in the question. If they don't give you in the question, there is something wrong in the question itself. So find out tax in India and find out tax in country A. It can be X amount of tax in India and Y amount of tax in country A. Now this tax we can't do anything. If at all we give you relief from this amount. All we are going to do is check out of these two, which one is the lower amount. Supposingly tax in India is 100 and tax in country X is 80. That means in country X you have already paid 80. So in India, you just subtract this 80 from your 100. Whatever you have paid there, we are reducing. Alternatively, tax in country X is 100 and tax in India is 80. So once again, we can't do anything about this. Whatever relief we give you here. So obviously, we will give you this. Or in other words, the tax in India or tax in foreign country, whichever is lower is your relief, and it will be reduced from your Indian tax. Because only government of India is providing you relief. Idhar ka tax, udhar ka tax. Indian tax, foreign tax. Tax in India or tax in the foreign country, whichever is lower. Tax in India or tax in foreign country, whichever is lower, will become your relief. Is the logic. Steps I'll tell you one by one. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 step is your answer. But logic is what? We have to find out Indian tax. We have to find out foreign tax. Honestly speaking, our effort is only in finding Indian tax. Why? Foreign tax to ye hai 70,000 rupees here in front of Indian tax or foreign tax, whichever is lower will become your relief, is the concept of it. But of course, now that you understood the logic, if you understood the logic, then let's understand the steps. If you understood the logic, then tell me what are the two things that we have to compute to decide the relief. Indian tax and foreign tax. Before Indian tax, there is a problem that we can't calculate tax on 7 lakh because India does not levy tax on individual incomes. India levies tax on total income. You can't say that he has paid tax of this much on 7 lakh or 8 lakh. He will pay tax if at all on 15 lakh. And for this reason, we have to find out his total tax liability, and for which step number 1 is going to be your net taxable total income in India. Ridiculously easy, please. Tell me what? How much? 15. Why 15? Why not 8? Because 7 is also taxable in India. In the absence of any relief, obviously NTTI in India is going to be 15 lakh. Modi ji's favorite figure. Every time I have 15 lakh in my example, it is Modi ji. Every time it is 40 lakhs in my example, it is Totla Tiwari. Talikla, you don't know Totla Tiwari? Chal chhod. NTTI in India 50 lakhs. Now what? If logic is understood, try karo. Let it be wrong, but you try. If you give the wrong answer, don't worry, I am there. What should I do with this NTTI? Agarbatti? Calculate tax, because ultimately Indian tax has to be compared with foreign tax. No, NTTI we have calculated only for the purpose of tax. So you will do one thing: calculate tax in India without any relief, on the assumption that there is no relief. Calculate tax in India and wait. When a particular question is silent about the taxpayer is in old regime or new regime, normally I will always keep the taxpayer in the old regime, because I am very clear in my mind new regime is a scam. But look at this situation where there is no exemption, no deduction, no house rent allowance, no chapter 6A, no 80C, 80D, nothing given. When nothing is given, that means your income as per old as well as new is same. 15 lakh, whether old regime, new regime, 15 lakh, then in that case new regime is definitely going to be beneficial, and therefore we will calculate this tax as per 115 BAC. Please help me with this tax liability in India. 1 lakh. Acha, this is the fixed amount of tax at 15 lakh. Had it been anything more than this, so we would have done what? Excess ka 30% plus 1 lakh, 40,000. This is exact 15, the fixed amount of tax. So what's your answer? Rubbish, nonsense, bakwas, vahiyat answer. Sorry, your answer is wrong. And why sorry? Your answer is wrong. You have any better answer? Then give me. 1 lakh 40 is wrong. You are wondering, sir, 115 BAC, 140 barabar hai. 1 lakh 40 is wrong. You have any other answer? Then give me, please. 1 lakh 45,600. Now tell me, what is the difference in 140 and 145,600? 4% cess. No surcharge. Sir, why no surcharge? Because income has not exceeded 50 lakh. Now you understand that something as basic as tax calculation. Listen, what is this subject direct tax? Why it is the toughest paper to score marks? You need to have a clear cut idea about this before we start solving questions for the first time. Then every step there is a likely mistake. In the additional question bank, I have got huge number of questions only on tax calculation. अब you will be like, यार ये slab का calculation भी कोई practice करता है क्या? This is an insult to my talent. अभी क्या है, you don't practice, no? So what will happen in the exam? You will forget cess. Surcharge may or may not come. Cess will always come. Tax liability can never be without cess. Basic tax is never the answer. But because of lack of practice, you forget. And cess, so usually people don't. You are special. Cess, usually people don't forget. But surcharge mein to brightest students go wrong because of so much variety. Cess mein there is less variety and there is no variety. But surcharge mein there is endless variety. You are aware of that. So brightest students go wrong. Only option is to practice more. Because in other subjects, no? For example, a subject like IBS, Integrated Business Solution. You already know that you don't know anything. When you were in intermediate, you had a subject like EIS. You know that you don't know it. But what is direct tax? You think you know it. You think your answer is right. 140 का confidence देखा था? गोली बेटा, मस्ती नहीं. You saw the confidence at which you answered. No, direct tax man. You think you know. You think your answer is right. But studying direct tax is like getting married. Every time you think you are right. You want me to complete that? Every time you think you are right, you are wrong. Every time you think, this is so easy, this time I will show you what I am this time. Why are you showing this finger? In other subjects, you know that your answer is wrong. In direct tax, you think it is right, you missed some step, you don't even know. And as far as subjective answers are concerned, you may still get some marks. For a 6-mark question like this, at least for writing this 15 lakh, maybe they'll give you half mark. Just imagine if this is MCQ. You get 0. And that the worst part is that 10 mark case study based MCQ. So what they'll do is they will ask a long question. Calculate total income. Second question is calculate tax on total income. Third question is calculate tax if the assessee opts for 115 BAC. Supposingly your first calculation is wrong, no NTTI ka calculation. That means everything is wrong. Matlab one mistake you make, you don't lose 1 or 2 marks, you lose 10 marks. That is why this is the toughest paper to score. Because your mistakes are going to cost you for the other questions as well. Solution is practice more and more. And you'll get this feeling when you start solving the MCQs that I will give you. You'll get a clear feel. What will happen is, there are 4 options. You'll miss some step. Because of that, whatever answer is coming, that is also there in the options. You'll get that answer. And then that will not match with the printed answer. And you'll be messaging, sir, is there a printing mistake? No, there is a solving mistake. And I have told you this before and I say it again. If anybody clicks a picture of that question and sends it to me, I answer doubts of students on WhatsApp. Sir, solve this. What some students do, they send me the photo of the question, sir, solve this. I'll come home and give you 2 tight slaps. Karim, Hyderabad aake maanga. It is not solve this. It is, sir, this is the question. Second photo, this is my solution. Which step I have gone wrong? Solve this. I'll come home and give you 2 tight slaps. I'm telling you in advance. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, these silly mistakes can be very, very dangerous. Tax liability which says 145,600. Now look at some of the statements that I am making. See if you agree or not. The total income in India is 15 lakh rupees. Yes, bolo ya no? The tax liability before granting any relief is 1,45,600. This means that on total income of 15 lakh, there is total tax of 145,600. Some part of this 145,600 has been calculated at 0%. That's the basic exemption. Some part is 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%. Had it been more than 15 lakh, there would have been some portion of 30 as well. Plus, it has been enhanced with the applicable rate of 6. Matlab, one thing we understand that 145,600 has been calculated at different rates. But now we come to the most important step of the entire concept. If you understand this step, you can say that you understood the calculation of unilateral relief. We are required to find out something called the average rate of tax. Because 145,600 has not been calculated at a flat rate. Different rates, not different slabs. We have to summarize this into an average rate. That on an average, we are making the assessee pay tax at this rate in our country. I don't want the answer. I want to know how you are calculating it. How will you calculate? If I tell you that 145,600 is the tax liability on 15 lakh, so how will you calculate average rate? Can I say tax liability divided by NTTI into 100? This is the average rate of tax. On total of 15 lakh, we have total of 145,600. 2 decimals, please. 9.71% is the average rate of tax. What is the significance of this? This is the most important data of our entire solution. That means India is levying tax on this taxpayer at an average rate of 9. That means if you pick up 15 lakh on your calculator and on that 15 lakh you apply 9.7, see what you get. It's not jadoo, it's arithmetic. Arey, wohi to we have done. That slab rate ko we have converted into average rate. Which means 15 lakh in India is getting taxed at, listen to this following statements, very important. 15 lakh is getting taxed at 9.7. That means we are levying tax of 9.71 on this income and we are levying tax of 9.71 on this income. Itna basic arithmetic, algebra, you understand. That 9.71% of 15 lakh is the same as 9.71% of 8 lakh plus 9.71% of 7 lakh. If we add the two amounts, it is 9.71 of 15, which becomes our tax liability. Now the 9.71 which you are paying on this 8 lakh, taxpayer has got no problem because only paying tax in India. But the 9.71 which you are paying on 7 lakh is the problem, because on the same 7 lakh, you have also paid tax in a foreign country. And that is where the problem of double taxation arises. So what is the Indian tax on 7 lakh? 9.71%. And for comparison purposes, because I told you the logic, we are going to give relief of which amount? Indian tax or foreign tax, whichever is correct, hai na? So we also need, for lower determination purposes, we will need foreign tax rate, which is, ladies and gentlemen, always going to be given to you in the question. If the question does not give you foreign tax rate, that means there is some mistake in the question. If the question does not give you foreign tax rate, then you can write a note to the paper checker and you tell the paper checker in the note, please die. Why you are asking such questions without logic? I pray to God that your children give more difficult exams and never pass. You don't actually write this on the ground that, sir, we follow everything that you say blindly, because you don't. If they don't give this, there is a mistake in the question, which will never take place. So in our question also, 10% was given to us. Step 5, you have to choose lower. Please understand. Once you are done with the most important step, step number 3, step 4 ka answer you are only copying from the question. And too much effort required to decide whichever is lower, right? Nahin? To bol. Between 9.71 and 10%, what is lower? That means if at all we grant you relief, we will grant you relief at a rate of 9.71%. The logic is simple. Indian tax or foreign tax, whichever is lower, but for Indian tax, we were required to do 3 steps. Foreign tax is readily given. Correct hai? Now finally we come to that step, which is going to give us our relief under section 91. We have decided that relief will be given at the lower rate that we have discussed above. What is the lower rate? 9.71%. But on what amount? Ye question. 7 lakh, 15 lakh, 8 lakh, none of them. See, none of them cannot be the answer. And only 8 lakh cannot be the answer. 7 has to be a part. So options are only 2. 7 lakh ke 15 lakh. Okay. Are India may have paid tax on 15 lakh. But double tax is arising only on 7 lakh ka foreign income. And relief will be given only on that much amount. See, you all give, and almost everyone gave the correct answer, 7 lakh. Why? Because you knew this concept before today's lecture. You have attended direct tax already somewhere and checking here whether I know things or not. No? Because you use logic, you use common sense, and with logic I already discussed at the beginning, Indian tax or foreign tax, double tax is coming only on 7 lakh. Ladies and gentlemen, in words if I have to tell you, we have to take the doubly taxed income. So 8 lakh is the not doubly taxed only, no? The doubly taxed income that is included in your NTTI. So what is your NTTI? 15 lakh. But in that, how much is the doubly taxed income? And consequently, we will be getting relief only of 9.71% on rupees 7 lakh. Only on 7 lakh, 9.71%. You understood the logic of Indian tax or foreign tax, whichever is lower. That lower rate will be applied on your double taxed income. And that will become your relief. Please give me this answer. By the way, getting these answers is not my responsibility. You know, if you have a good quality calculator, you can buy it or take it on rent. But if you have a good quality calculator, the responsibility of finding this amount is your calculator. You know, CA student calculator, most romantic story on the planet. Hashtag couple challenge. 67,970. Round figure है 67 half or 7 67,970 is the relief that we are going to grant. So if the question is calculate relief, you stop here. You are understanding this? But alternatively, there will be another question final tax liability, which you will do only and only if it is asked. First we'll solve this, we'll calculate, then I'll explain to you what I mean when I say if asked. This is important because some students lose marks here also. So pehle, you tell me, how will you calculate final tax if asked? Ridiculously easy, bro. You can't be consuming time in thinking this. Yes. 145,600 would have been his tax liability in India in the absence of any relief. But now that we have decided to grant him relief, that means we are going to subtract from 145,600 his relief of 67,970, finally granting him or telling him that your final tax liability is oh Marilla look 77,630. ये liability. Now please pay attention. Supposingly there are prepaid taxes like advance tax, TDS. You adjust against this. Okay, you adjust and then final amount can be payable or refundable. Mark the term. And I think in the introduction tax rates chapter I told you this, that you see carefully what they are asking. Are they asking liability or they are asking payable refundable? Payable refundable is the last step that we do after adjustment of our prepaid taxes. Ye clear hai? Now please understand what is happening in a lot of exams in suggested answers, MCQ especially. You get marks for answering the required part. Required part matlab you are required to calculate relief under section 91. Alternatively, you are required to calculate the final tax liability of the assessee. If the question is asking relief, then your final answer should be 67,970. And if the question is asking tax liability, then your answer has to be 77,630. See, if the question is relief, so you stop at 67,970. Then you don't show your smartness. So in English, don't be over smart. In Hindi में ज़्यादा होशियार नहीं. In Marathi अति शाना. In Gujarati दो डापर. तो तेलुगु में क्या बोलता है? Over smart करीब. Same. My answer also same. No difference. You seen that meme? वो सरफराज खान वो पाकिस्तान का कैप्टन था. So there was one question a reporter asked. Virat Kohli answered in English. Then same question was asked to him in English. So his answer was, my answer also same, no difference. Don't be over smart. If they are asking relief, stop at relief, because it is possible that the person who is checking your paper does not know further. He has to compare your answers with a set of suggested answer given to him. So suggested answer is saying 67,970. You are saying 77,630. You lose your marks. And MCQs mein to no one can help you. If you understand. If some intelligent guy is checking your paper, chalo theek hai, he'll ignore that extra step and still give you the marks. But MCQ mein to you will never get marks. And I'll tell you what, knowing how ICAI sets MCQs, there will be 67,970 as well as 77,630 in your options. Be ready, be prepared for this. So now it's the onus is up to you to identify what they are asking. If the question is final tax, you still have to do all these steps. You get 67,970 as relief. Is that the correct answer as far as relief ka amount is concerned? Yes. And you suddenly see, arey, ye to option mein hai. Choose that option. Gone, bro. Because another option was 77,630, and that is the question. Marks you get for answering what they ask, not for what you know. Too deep, huh? Too deep this is. You get marks for answering what they are asking, not for what you know. So be very careful about this. And is the logic understood? Indian tax or foreign tax, whichever is lower. Indian tax will do with 2 steps. Foreign tax, they will give us whichever is. With this, I want to take up with you a little complicated example. Second example. Okay. Mr. S, still a resident, still age 35 years. Again, he is giving you data. He has got Indian income. Mr. S has got Indian income. This time he has rupees 12 lakhs in the form of Indian income, and he has got income in Country A, 8 lakh rupees. This country A has levied tax of 11% on Mr. S as per source. That means one thing we are clear. Has this 8 lakh been taxed in the foreign country? And will this 8 lakh also be taxed in India? So things that we have understood, we should be increasing the speed as well. One more costing concept, learning curve. When you keep doing the same thing again and again, your speed should be better. So yes, this 8 lakh is the doubly tax income, and this is against which what we want our relief. But unfortunately, there is no DTAA. And in the absence of any DTAA, there is only one option that we have as far as relief is concerned. Unilateral relief. ये correct है? And for unilateral relief, at this stage, we check only one thing. क्या sir? Is he a resident? Yes. Because, listen, income outside India, tax outside India, no DTAA, we have already checked. Hello? That means, he is eligible for unilateral relief. ये correct है? Now then, one wonders, sir, why is this example being called complicated? Because ultimately it appears to be same, only numbers have changed. 8 lakh, 7 lakh has become 12 lakh and 8 lakh. There is nothing complicated about it. ये correct है ना? Obviously, till now it is the same question only. Except the two amounts have not changed anything. Or maybe the tax rate of the foreign country. But that will obviously change question by question. The change will be incorporated now and everyone has to focus. This 8 lakh that he has earned in that foreign country is income in the form of royalty. Nature of income is being communicated to you for a change. Bro, what is royalty? What is royalty? I want to know how much you know. वो wrong ही है, but what do you know about this term called royalty, except that some years ago it was a nightclub at Bandra which has shut down. Anything else you know about royalty? नहीं. Ownership rights of what? मतलब we have ownership rights of this premises. English. Ownership right on intellectual property. That is not royalty. What we get for allowing someone to use our intellectual property. If I have to keep it simple, royalty is the rent on intangible assets. Think about it. If you use my land, building, plant, machinery, I will charge rent. But if you use my patent, trademark, drawing, design, brand, so I will charge royalty. The rent on intangible assets, or a little technical language, you can say compensation paid for usage of, received for usage of intellectual property. That's royalty. So supposingly this guy is an author. Mr. S, author of 7 books, 5 for CA final, 2 for CA inter, author. So he's selling books, and on the books he is earning royalty from a foreign country. Now then, I am not teaching you this section, I am telling you about this section, but there will be a day when I will teach this section also. Today it is assumed that you don't know this section, that whenever you earn royalty on books, copyrights, against that income, you are eligible for a deduction under section 80QQB, royalty on copyrights. I am not teaching you the section. Teaching part of this section will take place in chapter 6A deductions. I am just communicating that there is a section 80QQB which says that we will give you deduction but up to a maximum of 3 lakh rupees. Matlab, if my royalty is 8 lakh, in income I will write 8 lakh. It's a deduction, not an exemption. So in income I will write full amount, it will come in the total, but in deduction I will take 3. And supposingly my royalty was only 2 lakh. So in income still I will write 2 lakh. And deduction will be restricted to 2 lakh. Even if my GTI is 14, how 14? 12 and 2. But this concept is known as an income related deduction. A deduction which you can take only against that income. And if that income is only 2 lakh, so you can't get deduction of 3 lakh. Deduction will be restricted to the amount of that income, and therefore we call it income related. See, this is different from your deductions of 80C, 80D. 80C, life insurance premium, 80D, medical insurance premium are expenditure based deduction. So if you have paid those premiums, you can get deduction against your GTI irrespective of amount. You can take deduction against 12 lakh, 8 lakh, any other amount. Except if some amount is specifically declared as disqualified for deduction. Other than that, you can take against any income. But an income related deduction can be taken only against that particular, that specific income. And the case of 80 QQB is that. So this deduction can be taken only against 8 lakh. To answer my question, in GTI, how much we will write? 8 lakh ke 5 lakh? 8 lakh. GTI will comprise of full 8. My gross total income in this example is going to be 20 lakh. But from that 20, I am going to be eligible for Chapter 6A deduction of 3 lakh. If you were not aware of this 80 QQB concept, I give you the benefit of doubt because I walk into a CA final class on the assumption that you have not studied direct tax at intermediate. Truth. So I will give you the benefit of doubt. But now you understand there is a section 80 QQB making me eligible for deduction of, in this example, it will be 3 lakh because income is 8. Now this is going to bring massive twist in the calculation. If you understand other than this deduction part, everything else is like same as the previous question, just the little change in amounts, but huge change will take. Now logic is simple. Indian tax or foreign tax, whichever is lower, logic does not change. Indian tax or foreign tax, whichever is lower, logic does not change. But for Indian tax, we have to use our 3 steps. Now we will do those steps. Step number 1, entity I in India. Yes, please. Oh, copycats. Oh, entity in India, how much? Copying in class is allowed only if you are not distracted. If you don't answer my questions, I'll take your notebooks. 17 ke 20?
17.
Huh? 17, everyone sure? Why? Because from 20 we are going to get deduction of 3 lakh. If anybody wants to give any other answer, so this is your chance. Because after I tell you, then you are, oh, no, sir, I was also thinking that. Any other answer? No? Okay, then ladies and gentlemen, as per old regime, it is going to be 12 plus 8 minus 3 ka deductions. So 17 lakh. But as per new regime, your income is going to be, oh, abhi bola na, studying direct tax is like getting married. Every time you think you are right, some mistake you have made. Matlab you understand that old regime and new regime will bring tax on different amounts, obviously. So now this time what is going to happen? If you remember what we did in the first example, because there was no deduction, we had to do only the new regime. But if there is a deduction, we will have to do old as well as new, unless question says that assessee has opted for old regime, new regime, something like that. As long as the question is silent, you will have to do both. To a certain extent, it also depends on number of marks. Supposingly, it's a 3 or 4 mark question. Then you can't be doing old regime, new regime, foreign tax, and relief also you have to calculate in both regimes now. See, if regime changes, then average rate of tax will change. It is possible that in one case Indian tax is lower, in the other case foreign tax is lower. So relief amount also will be different. Final answer will be different. You can't be doing so much for 3 or 4 months. Then you write an assumption. Assume old regime, assume new regime, and do it accordingly. No deductions given, assume new. Deductions given, then assume old. Otherwise, how will you use the deductions? But if they ask it for a respectable number of marks, which is anything more than 6, then you have to do it. Doubt. Then both.
We can do that like that. Old regime, new regime, दोनों एक जो beneficiary है.
Obviously. नहीं. So how will you come to know जब तक you don't do final tax, which is beneficial? That means end of the day, if your question is that sir, can I do relief? Relief किस में ज़्यादा है is not the answer. I'll tell you why. Because after granting relief, what is the final amount? See, it is possible that liability ज़्यादा है, therefore relief ज़्यादा है. Because liability is more, so average rate is higher, and therefore higher relief. So relief ka amount is higher, cannot be your final decision. After minusing relief, what are you left with? In that, so ho gaya na, then so you have done the full solution, no? As per old, as per new, and that is what we are going to do also. Understood or no? For now, everybody understood the two relief, the two NTTI figures as per old regime and as per new regime. Chalo. Step to bolo, at least what is the next step? Tax. Tax in India will be calculated. Stop nodding your head, please calculate. As per old regime on 17 lakh and as per new regime on 20 lakh. 335, 4. How did you do this? 7 lakh per 30%. 2,10,000 plus 1,12,500 kiya. That's the fixed tax for first category assessee at 10 lakh rupees plus 3 lakh 200 ke 400. Everybody sure of this? Tham na baba tham. This is clear. Everybody is getting this, no? Nahi to kya hoga? You know what? I have not memorized examples and amounts. By chance, if this turns out to be wrong, no, I'll give you a tight slap first because you have not supposed to sleep in class. Everyone has to calculate. 20 lakh pe new regime. 5 lakh into 30%. 150 plus 140. 290 plus 4%. That's 3 lakh. 3 lakh 1,000. Now, so now, if at this stage you end up deciding, sir, new regime tax is lower, so let's go for new regime, then it is horribly wrong. Because here, if tax is higher, then average rate will be higher. If average rate is higher, so relief will be higher. And after that higher amount of relief, it is possible that old regime ka tax goes below new regime. We can't stop here. We have to do everything. Third step, most important step of the entire calculation. Kya bro? Average rate of tax. Average rate of tax. You have to do this also for both regimes. How will you do it? Do you understand? In the old regime, your calculation is 335,400 divided by 17 lakh, and in new regime it is 301,600 divided by 20 lakh. Tax upon that income, no? Hmm. 15 point. And this will be compared with your whether old regime or new regime. Then how much is your 11%? So if we have to choose the lower of the two rates as per old regime and new regime, in both comparisons, see, old regime ka comparison is going to be what? This or this, whichever is lower, and new regime ka comparison will be this or this, whichever is lower. It's a coincidence that in both cases it is coming to 11%. Supposingly I change the foreign tax rate to 17%. So it is possible that in one regime it is Indian rate, in another regime it is the foreign rate. So strictly depends on what is the data given to you in the question. So here we have 11% for both, and this will bring us to our calculation of relief. Second last step. Obviously, we will have to calculate relief for old as well as new. 11%. $8 lakh and 8 lakh. Foreign income is 8 lakh. 1 minute. Doubly taxed income. So 12 lakh to we are definitely not taking. Nobody is making that mistake. And therefore, if we remove 12, so obviously we are left with 8 lakh. So 8 lakh and 8 lakh, 11%. Rubbish. 5 lakh and 5 lakh. In old regime, 5 lakh. And in new regime, sir, why are double taxed income we have to take? So it should be same, no? No, bro. 1 second. Come to the first example. In the first example, in the step for relief, look at what we have written in words. We have to take doubly taxed income included in NTTI. This is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. In your NTTI, what is the amount of doubly taxed income? 1 second. Come to our example. What is my NTTI as per old regime? 17 lakh. An entity as per new regime. As far as new regime is concerned, identification of the amount is very, very easy. Is entire 20 lakh getting taxed without any deduction? That means I have paid tax on 8 lakh also, an entire 8 lakh rupees, and therefore I will be getting relief of 8 lakh. Absolutely correct, whoever said this. Absolutely correct. But the mistake that whoever made was the mistake as far as calculating the eligible amount for old regime. Old regime, what is the entity? 17 lakh. Now this 17 contains 12 definitely, because from 12 we have not taken any deduction. This was an income related deduction which can be taken only against 8 lakh ka royalty. And that means if at all we have subtracted this 3, you got to understand that this 3 lakh has been subtracted from 8 lakh. And therefore in this 17, from this 8 we have only 5 lakh. 8 minus 3 equal to 5 is a part of this total, and consequently the included in entity I amount is only rupees 5 lakh, because it is an income specific deduction. This is the most important concept of the second example. If I was telling you that second example is complicated, it was this complication. You have to be very careful that total mein what amount is in. If I have taken any kind of deduction, any kind of exemption, any kind of tax benefit on any income, so that much amount has not been included in NTTI, and if it is not a part of NTTI, that means I am not paying tax. And if I am not paying tax, then on that much amount I will not get any relief. Sir, then why in the new regime we are taking full 8 lakh? Because I have not taken any deduction. That means I am paying tax on entire 8 lakh. But in the old regime I am taking deduction of 3 lakh. Not just that. And this deduction of 3 lakh was taken against that income only, no? And therefore we are reducing 3 lakh here. Wait, before we complete the solution part of it now, that's not important. Have you all understood? Because there are some permutations here which are possible. There are some doubts that good students should have in their minds. I want to discuss that. Let's clear that. Sir, this was a case of an income related deduction which can be taken only against this 8 lakh. This 3 lakh is getting subtracted against this 8 lakh. And therefore, in the old regime, we have taken 5 lakh. Explanation is for the old regime. Because new regime, in any case, full 8 lakh is allowed only. We are not taking any deduction. My explanation is about the old regime. You have taken 5 because the deduction was taken against 8. Please listen. Every deduction is not income related. This same question could have given you, instead of this 3 lakh, instead of 80 QQB, it could have been 80C, 80D, 80U of 3 lakh together. Because individually 80C is only 150, 80D can be only 50,000. Together it is 3 lakh rupees of other deductions, donations ka deduction. It's not 80 QQB. Supposingly it was 80G. It's an expense related deduction. When we give donation, we get deduction. Now tell me one thing. Here, is 80G supposed to be taken against some particular or specific income? Only against royalty or anything like that? Also is the case of 80C, 80D. Only against a particular income, right? I can take it against anything. If that was the case, then as per our answers, ICAI suggested answers, logic, and obviously as chartered accountants giving tax benefit to the assessee, in all suggested answers, what ICAI has done, they have subtracted this deduction against Indian income. Assume that the deduction was taken against Indian income so that at the time of granting relief, my full 8 lakh is eligible. As a chartered accountant, you have to work out ways in which you can bring maximum benefit to the taxpayer. So let me put it in statement form because this will take care of all the possibilities. Your first try should be to take deduction against Indian income so that your foreign income remains eligible, fully eligible. When it is not possible only, like the first thing that we did, 3 lakh rupees royalty, which was not possible to be taken against, then in that case, you will have to take the deduction against the foreign income. But your first effort, your first try, your first option should always be to take deduction against. So in this case, had it been 80G, so that 3 lakh we would have subtracted against 12, then old regime, new regime, both we will get relief on 8 lakh. You understood what I wanted to explain? Suggested answer mein, institute has done this. 80C, 80D is given, no? So they have subtracted 80C, 80D against Indian income and allowed the entire foreign income to be eligible for relief as per ICAI suggested answer. You understood? The concept is your first try should be adjust the deduction against Indian income. This is the concept. But I am fortunate that God has been kind to me. God has given me some of the brightest students ever. Some students, especially this part of the city where I am conducting my physical lectures right now, the kind of questions that they have asked me in the past makes a teacher think, okay, yaar, CA finalist as a student, you have the brain to think also so much. So look at the following doubts. These were doubts of students in the past. I have explained the concept in simple part this much, that your first preference should be Indian income, and this will explain all the doubts of all the students asking the past. I am asking the doubt first. You try if you can answer with what I have taught. A student said, "Sir, if this was only 2 lakh rupees and Indian income was 12 lakh, then GTI is only 14. Then what is the answer? We will take deduction of 2 lakh. So old regime mein you won't get any relief, and new regime mein there is no deduction. So you will get relief of full 2 lakh. 2 lakh into the lower rate. You can't be taking deduction against this income because it was income related deduction." Fantastic. Another student asked, "Sir, what if this 12 lakh is also royalty on copyrights? Ultimately he is author, so he will be getting royalty from both places. This is also royalty, this is also royalty. So total 20 is royalty. 80 QQB ka 3 lakh ka limit is against your total royalty of the year. Now in this case, what will you do? See, expense related deduction ka to I only gave the answer. But this is income related deduction. And in my example, we have subtracted against 8 lakh, reduced it to 5. Now what will you do if 12 was also royalty? Come on. So my concept has given the answer that first preference Indian income. So adjust 3 lakh against 12 so that 8 lakh is eligible for relief in old as well as. Correct? Eh? Concept is one. First preference against Indian income. That will answer all the permutations. But last doubt. Sir, this is not 12 lakh. This is 1 lakh. And this is 8 lakh. So total 1 plus 8, 9 lakh, full royalty on copyrights. Come on. Come on. 1 against Indian income, first preference. Balance 2 against 8 lakh foreign income. That means against that income we have taken deduction of 2 lakh. New regime mein to full 8. Old regime mein we will be able to take 6 lakh because 8 minus 2, 1 lakh against Indian income, first preference. So once we say first preference against Indian income, if possible, adjust against Indian income. It solves everything. You understood? Understood the example? Now let's complete it. All those who said 8 lakh for both cases, mistake is clear now. Chalo, fantastic. Yes, please. Relief over here 55,000 and here 88,000. You can still not say which option I will choose, old or new, because this last step, what is the last step? Final tax liability as per old regime and as per new regime. Old regime, what was your liability before relief? 335, 400, and new regime it was 301, 600. From this we are giving relief of 55,000 and 88,000 respectively. Two lakh 80,400 and obviously we will be going for the new regime, considering that it is giving us lower tax. Bhau, oh Bhau, you will decide the regime here at this amount. You cannot decide old regime or new regime here. You cannot decide old regime or new regime even with the amount of relief. Final answer you will decide. Is that clear? Now wait. Whichever regime I choose, so my wish, I can choose this, I want to pay more. If I have TDS, TCS, advance tax, whatever be the case, that will be adjusted against this final liability. So dear government, this is my duty towards you, but I have already paid this much. Of course, we are choosing this being lower. I have already paid this much. Your advance tax, TDS, TCS, your prepaid taxes will be adjusted against this final liability. Before this, any step is the wrong step to decide this for this old regime or new regime. Which simply means that if you are solving the question as per, see, there is an option, less number of marks, then you solve any one regime. If they give you in the question that the assessee is taking old or new, then you solve only as per one regime. But if they are silent and they ask for a decent amount of marks, then you have to solve as per both. And when you are solving as per both, so you will decide only here, not before this. Ye clear hai, everyone? That means finally we choose new regime and 213,600 will become our liability. Everyone clear? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, congratulations, badhai ho, abhinandan. That marks completion of our second chapter overall, introduction first and DTAA second. Today's lecture is the last lecture that is going to be uploaded on YouTube. It is like an open challenge that watch these 6 lectures and then you decide which coaching class you want to join. If you want to join anywhere else, because they are starting 15 days early, so you may please go wherever you want to and learn the law without the latest amendments. Choice is yours. This is the last lecture that is going to be uploaded, and that's the end of our second chapter. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have finished our chapter double taxation relief. We are now going to go to the questions of double taxation relief. You will have to open your question answer class book. Okay, your mobile was ringing in class, bro. Next time if your mobile rings, you have to dance on the same song. If your mobile rings, and this is for everyone, you have to dance on the same song. And don't try stupid stunts with me. Okay, this was done by my teacher. So I was very, very careless when it came to putting the phone on silent mode before entering the class. So my mobile used to always ring. One day the teacher was extremely frustrated. He said, "Abhi tera mobile baja. I will make you dance on the same song." I said, "Not now, never again." Next day, I went to class purposely not putting my phone on silent, and I also signaled my friend, call. And the moment he called, my phone started ringing. And I was like, "Sir, I'm ready for dance. Same step I will do, sir." Don't try that stunt on me, because with whom to do that step that I will decide. Then you will be in trouble. Please make sure that your phone does not disturb in class. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, question answers. First time we are doing in class. There is a manner, there is a structure in which I do questions in class. As obviously question answers I have not memorized by heart like I know. So what will happen is, one student from the classroom, it can be online student or offline student, anybody, everyone is at par, everyone is equal here. You will have to volunteer to read the question loudly for everyone, for the entire class. One person will read the question loudly and then together all of us will solve. Please listen to me. These are set of instructions relevant before doing question answer for the first time, because after this we are going to follow. If somebody has to read, somebody has to volunteer. Supposingly I count till 5 and nobody volunteers, then I will skip questions of that chapter and I will start the next chapter. Ye clear? You have to be a little participative in class. Ye clear? Okay. Secondly, all the questions, everything that we are doing in class. So out of roughly 850 questions, 50% is class work. About 420, 430 questions we do in class, and equal number is in our additional question bank. Yes, additional question bank number every year increases, because between last year and this year, 2 exams took place, 2 RTPs came. आपका mock test papers. So all that data, all that content is added in the additional question bank. As of now, it is 50-50. Every question from these 8 to 50 is solved, means the question is printed and the answer is also printed in the book itself. All questions are solved questions, all solutions are there. So if I find any student reading the solution while we are solving the question, because there will be cases where I will ask, Bata, what is the answer? If I find anybody reading the answer when we are doing the question, you all are from nearby places, like from here, if you will be going home or office, no? So it will be in the surrounding nearby. Wherever is it, either hai na? I will drop you. I will drop you. Pura raste marte. Because in my class, you can't be reading the answer. Whoever found reading, I will drop you to home, office, wherever, and you will be driving. Because I can't be driving with one hand. You will be driving and I will be sitting behind. As I say, if I sit on the passenger seat on your left, then also hitting is a little difficult, you know. From behind you, it will be convenient and comfortable. You don't want to do all that. Don't. Huh? क्या बोल रहे हैं? तो boot में बंद करके, then I will only drive. You will not be sitting inside the car. You will be sleeping inside the boot. डिक्की बोलता है उसको. अब boot वही होता है डिक्की. And then all the bumps on the highways, all the speed breakers, bro, you will be taken care of. गाड़ी नहीं आती है तो क्रॉस क्वेश्चन देखो, डाउट पूछा कभी? हाँ. Don't do all that. Don't read the answer. We are here to solve. We have to solve the question thinking that we are sitting in an examination hall where we don't have printed answers. We have to use our brain, the knowledge that we have acquired in the chapter, solve it. And if at all we go wrong in any step, of course I am there, we won't be going wrong. On your own also, when you practice the additional question bank, let your step be wrong. You get stuck at a particular step, no? Don't check the answer. अरे यार ये समझ नहीं आ रहा है. It should be this percentage or that percentage. Check करता. That means you are defeating the purpose of solving questions. Solve as per what you think is right. Final answer once done, then check which step you went wrong, and make sure that in the printed answer you mark those steps, so that later part of your self study, you know, that last 1.5 days when you are sitting for your revision and you are going through the questions, you are flipping your pages, you have the markings of those mistakes that you made first time you solved the question, so that it's a quick recap. Acha, ye mistake tha. I won't make them in the exam now. That 1.5 day ka planning is a very difficult planning. No? If you don't plan for that, you have to plan for it today. You have to decide that during those roughly 30-36 hours, what exactly you are going to do. And a big factor in that is, whichever question I went wrong, and this you can't be saying, sir, ek baar humko marking de do na kaun sa question, because it is student specific. It is possible you go wrong in question 1, you go wrong in question 2. You have to do your own markings. It is subjective. Whichever step you go wrong, you give the wrong answer, you mark that, so that making mistakes in classroom allowed hai. Repeating mistakes not allowed. So please make sure you do that. और उसके लिए the main criteria is that you will not be reading the answer in class. Will solve the questions understanding that this is a blank sheet. Okay. So somebody has to volunteer to read question number 1 of double taxation relief, page number, additional question bank के अंदर. It has to be page number 2 only because introduction was. तो ऐसा नहीं, we say page number definitions. You understood how? How? हाँ. 5 seconds, someone has to volunteer. If in 5 seconds no one volunteers, I go to the next chapter. अच्छा यार, फटाफट syllabus will get. Okay. So 5, 4. हाँ कौन? हाँ. Thank you very much. I hope that ऐसा every time I don't have to do this, and I also hope that every time ऐसा नहीं कि बंद पे आएगा who are you born diffuser, बंद पे आएगा लाल वायर white wire, नहीं. हाँ तो read loudly. हाँ, your sound should enter my mic also, so online students should come to know कि है कोई class में powerful.
Mr. Rohit, a resident Indian, has derived the following income for the previous year relevant to the assessment year 25-26. Income from profession in India 6,94,000. Share of income from a partnership firm in country X. Tax paid in country X from this income is equivalent Indian rupees 8,000. Income is 40,000. Commission income from a concern in country Y converted in Indian rupees 30,000. Tax paid in country Y 2%. Interest from scheduled banks on fixed deposits 1,18,000. Mr. Rohit wishes to know whether he is eligible for any double taxation relief, and if so, its quantum. India does not have any double taxation avoidance agreement with countries X and Y.
First of all, we decide if Mr. Rohit is suffering double tax. Is Mr. Rohit suffering double tax? His first income from profession in India, taxable only in India. Second income and third income, incomes from country X and country Y, are they going to be taxable in India? Q, resident, world income. And they are also taxable in the respective countries. So in country X, they have given you the rate of tax 20%? No, 2%. That is given in country X or Y? Country Y ka 2%. And in country X, they have said that on 40,000 ka income, you have paid tax of 8,000. So percentage mein convert karna is not difficult. 20% tax you have paid. And on both these incomes, you are also paying tax in India. So do we have 70,000 doubly tax? So yes, there is double taxation. Of course, again, FD interest is taxable only in India. So relief will come only on that side. Correct? So now if there is double taxation, what are our two options of giving relief? Bilateral, unilateral. Give bilateral? Nice. Q, there is no treaty. And if there is no treaty, then the only option that we are left with is, and at this stage, we have to check only one thing. Is he a? He is. And therefore, he will get unilateral relief because income outside India, tax outside India, no DT double A, we have already checked. Ye clear hai? And now that you know the logic, you can actually do what? You directly start solving. Step number 1, calculation of net taxable total income. One by one, just keep on writing all the incomes that he has earned. First, income from profession in India. How much? 6,94,000. Next, income from country X. And every time you write foreign income, you preferably write the tax rate also, simply because at the end of it, for comparison, lower of Indian or foreign, you will need it. So we have 40,000. Next, country Y. There he has paid 2% tax, 30,000. And then he has got FD interest of 1,18,000. This will be your net taxable total income in the absence of any information about deductions. This is your GTI, NTTI, everything. Rupees 8,82,000. Correct hai? Fantastic. Now what? Calculation of tax liability in India. When the question is not giving us any data about exemption or deduction, we may very, very safely calculate as per section 115 BAC. Now, like an idiot, like a gadeda, don't do this. 882 minus 15 lakh into 30% plus 1,40,000. No, there are people who do that. 882 minus 15 negative ka 30 karke, they minus it from 140. Do it the way you want. Give me the correct answer. 39. How? 0 to 3 lakh? Nothing. 3 lakh to 7 lakh? 5%. So 20,000 of 4 lakh. 5% of 4 lakh is 20. And then 182 ka 10% will give you 18,200. So that's only 38,200. Plus 4% cess will give you 39,728. Correct hai? This is the tax liability in India before granting any relief. If there is no relief, you have to pay. But we know that we are going to grant relief. For that, we come to the most important step, that is the average rate of tax. 39,728 divided by 8,82,000. 2 decimals. 04. 4.5%. 4.5%. And this will be compared with your. Don't be scared if they have given you 2 foreign countries. You have to do the comparison country by country, because incomes are also country by country only. No? So country X के अंदर we have 20% and country Y we have 2%. तो लोग सुनो. For country X का income, our comparison will be this or this, whichever is lower. And for country Y का income, our comparison will be this or this, whichever is lower. Anyways, relief has to be given country by country. So if we choose lower of the two, as far as the income in country X is concerned, 20 or 4.5, and as far as country Y is concerned, 2 or 4.5. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, if we have to decide what is the relief under section 91 in respect of income earned in country X and income earned in country Y, at least we have already decided the rate, 4.5 and 2 respectively. Now what are the incomes? 40,000, 30,000, giving you, how much is relief in country X? 1,800. So total relief 2,400. And if asked, which I think they have asked here only, calculate relief. Mr. Rohit wants to know if he is eligible for any relief, and if so, determine the quantum. We have determined. If this question you are solving in exam, you will stop here, because question is only asking to calculate relief. But this is not exam, this is classroom. Classroom you need to know everything. Exam may you answer whatever they ask. So you will answer this. Kya sir? If asked, so what is going to be your final tax? 39,728 minus 2,400. वो जो भी है, that you romance your calculator, not my role. Point is, are you understanding this? Everyone clear hai? Fantastic. But that last step you will be doing only. So now, after doing 2 examples of unilateral relief and the first question, the 2 examples also serve as 2 questions. Do you get this feeling? It's easy hai. I'll manage. A question like this, 4 marks. If we add a couple of adjustments, it can go to 6 marks, sometimes 8 marks. Did I at the beginning of the chapter tell you? Extremely easy, small, scoring, and important. The easy chapter does not mean that easy hai, this won't come in exam. This comes almost every exam, because it's a part of international tax. So now what you understand is that chapters like these should be your target, where you can get the maximum marks with minimum effort. Effort we will put, but where required, channelize them correctly. Okay, so with more and more practice, in fact, after few questions, so you will be like, "Bas yaar, abhi ho gaya. We have understood." Too early though. Let's go ahead. Question number 2. Yes, please. खाली एक question नहीं पढ़ना.
Kalpesh Kumar, a resident individual, is a musician deriving income of 7,50,000 from concerts performed outside India. Tax of 1 lakh was deducted at source in the country where the concerts were held. India does not have any agreement with that country for avoidance of double taxation. His Indian income is 30 lakhs. Compute the total income and the tax payable by him, assuming he has deposited 1,50,000 in PPF and paid medical insurance premium in respect of his father, resident in India, aged 65 years, rupees 52,000. SSC has opted for old age.
The question is this time clearly mentioning that SSC has opted for old regime. So we will solve only as per one of them. ये clear है? अच्छा. Now one more time, if you observe carefully, This question is not asking you to calculate relief. See, right now you are in a mental zone. Yeah, I am doing double taxation relief. Look at what they are asking in this question. Look at the required part. Tell me what you need to do to get your marks. Total income and tax. They are not mentioning about any double taxation. The burden is on you. The onus is on you to identify. Acha, ye to DT double A ka question. And that's a big problem in direct tax. Ye question read karke students don't even understand which chapter it is. It can be solved again only with practice. And which is why I have played a game with you in the additional question bank. The additional question bank is not arranged chapter wise. It is arranged randomly. And as RTPs keep on coming, exams are conducted, so that is added at the end. Obviously, all that is not chapter wise. Exam mein aisa thodi they last chapter wise. Question on DTAA, next question on transfer pricing, question on PGBP. High hopes, bro. So you have to be randomly doing stuff. Purposely, I have done that in the additional question bank. And some students are requesting, okay, sir, ek kaam karo na, in additional question bank, at the end of every question, just mention in bracket no which chapter. Nahi, bro. Itna free time I don't have, and it is against you. So I'm not going to do that. Samjha? Now they are asking total income and tax. The first reaction is, pagal hai, individual ka total income and tax asking at CA final. Bro, you are not realizing that the concept that you have been studying, almost last 1 hour, or for that matter, since we started today's lecture, because we started the lecture only with unilateral relief. That concept, the main concept, is going to only be a small working note in this answer. Because total income will include everything. Tax liability before any relief. But the main thing is that relief which we are going to grant. Are correct, eh? And for that we make working note. See, last question was calculate relief. So this was my main answer. This time main answer is calculate tax. And in tax, relief is only a working note. Your presentation has to be modified on the basis of what they are asking. There is no standard rule of presentation. Left page 4 lines training account, rest of the page P&L account, right page balance sheet. Format, there is no pro forma here. There is no pro forma or format of any chapter. The presentation will change chapter by chapter, question by question. Here they are asking us total income. ठीक है, whatever you ask, I will do. Normally total income has to be done head by head. If they ask you to, देखो, relief if they are asking, you do anything, relief has to be correct. But if they ask a total income, then you have to do salary, house property, PGBP, capital gain, other sources. But now in this question, they have given you only 2 incomes, Indian income and foreign income. Because they have given you only 2 incomes, so you can't be making heads. If they give you details like rent earned, business income earned, your interest income earned, then you have to classify the incomes for correct presentation on a head basis. But here, just simply 2 incomes. So you have been given Indian income, how much? 30 lakhs. Okay. And you have foreign income. Kitna, bro? 7,50,000. Giving you a total of 37,50,000. This time I can't call it entity. I will have to call it gross total. Sir, Q. He is in old regime, and the question has given us data about deduction. So yes, we are going to give you chapter 6 ka deductions. Correct hai? First, assessee has contributed to PPF, for which we are eligible for a deduction under section 80C. Now, whatever I do in these deductions, if you know them, congratulations, but you don't, so let me only tell you, there is a section 80C which gives us deduction for our investments. The maximum limit of this section, entire section, is 1,50,000. Now, coincidentally, here the assessee has contributed exact 150, which equals to the maximum limit. Had this been 160, so we would have restricted to 150, but here it is 150, so we will get full deduction. And the assessee has also contributed under section 80D medical insurance premium. So no, father who is resident Senior citizen. It is a classic case of if you know, you know, and you don't know. First, medical insurance premium. Listen to the following statements fast, because I'm not teaching you ATD. I'm just giving you some data. And if out of the data that I tell you right now, there is one line also which you don't know, or you had studied but you have forgot, that means after I finish the first 2 volumes and I go to my 3rd volume intermediate syllabus, you better continue attending lectures. Attendance in classroom has already dropped. Like there are about 2-3 students who are absent here. Online maybe there are 2-3 students who are absent. If you think that I am not finding out, I am keeping a track of what every individual student is doing. So if you stop attending here, you can understand that you must be thinking, "Arey sir, chapter 6 is so easy, less important. Why should I waste time? Why should I get up early, 3 hours?" Bro, if you don't know chapter 6, you lose marks in double taxation. Because there is only one amount that is correct here. 80D is the section for medical insurance. First, in 80D, you'll get deduction if you contribute for yourself or you contribute for your parents. It is self, spouse, dependent, children, and parents. So how is this different? In 80C ka section, parents are not covered, but in 80D it is covered. So medical insurance, father ka also, if he is paying, he will get deduction. The person who pays gets deduction. Father can be dependent, independent, deduction will be allowed because they have said parents, not dependent parents. You will get deduction. Father can be resident or non-resident. You will get deduction because non-resident father is also father. And there is a limit in 80D. The limit is, listen to me carefully, actual contribution or 25,000, whichever is low. So whatever you contribute will be restricted to 25. But if the patient for whom you are contributing is a senior citizen, so bro, listen, father ka age is given 60. Father is a senior citizen. The assessee is not senior citizen. Father is. So if we talk about Kalpesh Kumar, obviously father is 65. How Kalpesh will be 60? Some are still thinking, sir, nothing is impossible. Kalpesh Kumar is definitely not a senior citizen, but the father is. You don't have to check the age of the person taking deduction. You have to see the age of the patient. If the patient is senior citizen, then the limit will be increased from 25,000 to 50,000. Are you with me? Wait! The biggest catch here, only if that patient is, in fact, it's not senior citizen patient, it is resident senior citizen patient. We will give you the higher limit. For higher limit ka eligibility, here there is another interest deduction, 80 TTA, and for senior citizen it is 80 TTB. See, 80 QQB you were not aware of, I can give you benefit of doubt. Okay, chalo, inter mein you've not studied tax. You cannot be unaware of 80 TTA TTB because even if you are working in audit, you have a saving account and you are getting stipend in that saving account. Even if you are a dummy article, you are taking the stipend in check and returning in cash. So you should be aware of saving account interest deduction. So there is a normal limit and there is a limit for senior citizen. For senior citizen, the limit is higher, but in whichever section the senior citizen ka limit is higher, it is only if the senior citizen is. So if the father was non-resident, so deduction allowed 25,000. Higher limit not allowed. Residence ka checking has to be done for higher limit. Because non-resident father is also father, deduction will be given. In this question, it is a resident senior citizen and therefore all conditions complied to get higher deduction of 50,000. I didn't hit this table because I thought it will break unnecessarily. There will be problem. खाली point prove करने के लिए I hit the wall. Either I got hurt. चल ठीक है. 50,000. Everyone understood? And out of all the discussion that I just did with you, supposedly little also you were not aware, because there was a question in my CA final exam. There was a lady, some Radha or Rita or whatever her name was. It was some. She was a married lady. She paid medical insurance premium for her non-resident, independent, senior citizen father. CA final. We had studied CA inter syllabus last about 2-3 years ago. When we were in CA final, all coaching classes of the city used to assume that students know these intermediate topics. So topics like heads of income, clubbing, set of deductions were not covered with us, because faculties always were under a pressure to finish the syllabus in a certain number of hours. So the only way of cutting down was intermediate portion. Of course, I was a little good at tax, so I remember the things that I had studied 3 years ago. And one day before my exam, I just checked the latest, if there is any amendment in the last 3 years, the latest notes, without studying in detail. Unfortunately, in my exam, from my exam onwards, intermediate ka syllabus started coming for 40 marks. Business profession, that time it was 16 marks, because there was no MCQ. Capital gain ka 10 marks, clubbing, set of deductions ka adjustment totally amounted to 40 marks. So you can literally say that in my direct tax paper, I had not studied 40 marks. I will not say I was not aware. I had not studied 40 marks. And literally in my exam, I knew only 60 marks. Achha, one thing, let me be clear. You never come and ask me, sir, so finally, aapko DT mein kitna aaya tha? I am not going to tell you that. Sir, you are so friendly, sir, like a friend, you can say. No, I am not so friendly. Who told you? Arey sir, I will not tell. No, I am not. Irrelevant whatever I have scored, because I have ensured that what happened with me does not happen with my students. And thousands of students have scored much more than what I did. That is more important. Because I did not know, of course I passed. So from 40 to 59, you can take anything. So 60, I am not saying also. अब 40 marks नहीं आया था. If I did not know 40 marks of my answer, so how will I, but that doesn't matter. Me scoring an exemption, or like thousands of students have scored an exemption, like typical parent wala feeling that whatever you have not done, you want your children to do. I didn't know only. And being the Marwadi that I am, when I started coaching, I was doing all the subjects. But, why would someone trust a newcomer with respect to any subject? At the end of the day, remember that when you all are giving professional exams, thousands of students are clearing with you, and with the CA ka final ka passing percentage changes. Every year there are going to be thousands and lakhs of students clearing CA final exams. Then what do you have which nobody else has? There has to be some core competence in you. Something that you have to offer which nobody else is. Then only people will accept you. Otherwise, the demand and supply ka rule will finish you off. Develop some competence. The first time when I was taking CA final direct tax class, in that same geography, South Bombay, the person who had maximum students was the teacher where I had taken CA final direct tax class, who did not teach me intermediate portion. And since, I have that big regret that why I chose that class. Not to blame the teacher. After 14 years of teaching, pressure of coaching classes on the teacher that they don't give time. But it has been a forever regret. Now I am teaching in the same. And that teacher has got a very simple way to tell the students, he is my student only, so what he will teach you. How to compete with that teacher? My first pamphlet said, my batch will cover CA inter syllabus, which came for 40 marks, 37 marks, 38 marks, 41 marks in the last 4 exams. You can check it. Exact data. I calculated last 4 question papers ka direct tax mein inter syllabus ka marks, and printed that in the pamphlet and circulated amongst his students. I sent one staff to distribute pamphlets under his coaching class. And across the road, I was standing and checking whether he is distributing properly. Bro, when you have to enter entrepreneurship now, you have to do just about everything. We are Marwadis, we are Jains. So we don't start working before praying. And there is a rule of prayer in our offices that unless and until your floor has been swept, you should not be praying. That is inauspicious. Prayers have to be done only after sweeping the floor. Sweeper is absent on a particular day. And that part-timer, exchange wala sweeper, he is asking for triple money, and I did not have. I have swept my own classroom after becoming a CA, and I have got no ego. If required, I am ready to do it today as well. Of course, today if somebody is asking 3 times the money, I can pay that and hire someone with 3 times. There was a time I couldn't afford it. The first pamphlet I wrote that. So what his students did, they studied full syllabus with him, and then they said, "Okay, sir, can we join for inter syllabus?" I said, "Fees pura lage. You did not join, that was your fault, because they themselves analyze those question papers." I will see. You should be also aware who is your target audience. I was teaching in South Bombay. I knew that if they want to learn inter syllabus, they may not want to learn. Then, so anyways, they are not going to join my class. But if they want to learn, fees will not be the criteria. They will pay me the same amount. I took the same amount. Your competitor ke saath mein every time competition is not reduction of fees. If I start getting into price war with my competitors, it is endless. They will never be able to do quality war with me. I don't get into a price war. I said, I'll take full fees. Lena hai lo, nahi to mat lo. They paid me full fees and joined me for intermediate syllabus. And then at the end, they said, "Okay, sir, we hope that we should have taken the full syllabus here only." No problem. Tell your juniors in office that they should take full syllabus with. Last class, one of the students of your class stayed back after class. He said, "Okay, sir, one person in my office also wants to join. I have given good feedback about you. Can I bring him?" Neki aur kuch. Obviously bring him. Today he is only absent. Gajab hai bro. Culture in education has changed, I must tell you. हाँ, बीमार है तो उसका दोस्त वो भी बीमार है, वापस पूछना ब्रो. Don't ask for 194 age. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, since that day there was no looking behind. Believe me, I have immense respect for the teacher whose class I enrolled, but he actually had to leave that area and join a coaching class in some another area because the full market was his, and I brought him down to 10% of his batch size. 10% in a matter of 1.5 years. तुम ये मत बोलना सर नेक्स्ट बैच से मुलुंड में डायरेक्ट टैक्स आई एम स्टार्टिंग, आई विल ब्रिंग यू डाउन. नहीं, bring it, let there be healthy competition. Ultimately beneficiaries will be students. No, we are working towards the betterment of our profession. And now you realize that if you use your smartness of not attending the CA intermediate syllabus, what difficulty it will. In my exam paper, when it was Rita who paid medical insurance premium of her father, the things that hit me were, one, Rita hai, so what, boy or girl, parents are paying. Question also mentioned Rita was married. So what, after marriage still parents are paying. They have said contribution for parents, so allowed it. Next, father is non-resident, still a father. Father is independent, still a father. So till that I said yes, deduction will be given. Now there are two limits, normal limit and higher limit for senior citizen. The question clearly said father was some 75 years old. So therefore it hit me, oh, senior citizen hai, higher limit. My friends writing these papers sitting around me in the exam hall, pagal ko to pata bhi nahi hoga. I was looking at them, identifying them as idiots, that they will not even remember that there is higher limit for senior citizen. We were in the same classroom because we used to have physical forms. We used to submit them together, so our roll numbers used to be back to back. And when I used to sit in that CA ka exam classroom, no, at all the 3 levels, all the people in my classroom were my friends only. Some of them were my first students and I had taught them. I was wondering, ye pagal hai, ye pagal hai. I was always thinking overconfidence mein, these idiots won't even know that there is higher limit. I remember there is higher limit, so my adjustment will be right. They did not remember that there will be higher limit. They gave the lower limit. They were right because it was non-resident. They were right by fluke, but they were right. So therefore in tax it is everything or nothing. Please do not miss volume 3. I say this in every batch, but ultimately students do whatever they want to only. In last 5 years, so I have stopped putting efforts into it. In the starting mein, I am assuming that you all will listen to me. After a point when I find out that you all are not listening, I will stop only putting efforts. Just come, do your syllabus and go. So now it depends on you how you want it to be. Here, because the father is resident senior citizen, we are giving full deduction. Kitna bro? Full 50,000 का deduction will be given. ये clear है? Accordingly, the total deductions here 80C, 80D put together will be 2 lakh rupees, giving you net taxable total income of 35 lakh 50,000. Now bro listen, question is asking calculate total income and tax. ये total income है. Now we have to calculate tax on 35 lakh. ये main answer है. This is the main answer. Tax on 35 lakh 50,000. An institute presents it like this: 25 lakh 50 into 30%. Sir, why 25 lakh 50? Because old regime में after 10 lakh. Correct है? Plus 1 lakh 10,000 ना senior citizen 80D we have given 50,000. अरे 50. Father is ऐसा नहीं है कि your father become senior citizen तो your basic exemption changes. ये must है. बोला my grandfather is senior citizen तो my basic exemption will change. नहीं bro, you have to become senior citizen. 1,12,500 giving you how much? 877,500. Fantastic. This is more than 5 lakh. If this was less than 5 lakh, so we would have given माथा तुम्हारा. This has to be less than 5 lakh. Debate. नहीं. You check the entity. One more time. So this is less than 50 lakh. If this was more than 50 lakh, तो search. नहीं. Again you. Studying direct tax is like getting married. You have to see the income amount. Here we will only have cess 4%, giving you 9,12,000. Now suno, this is my total tax liability. This is not final tax liability. It is only a total, because from this total I am going to get relief under section 91. Till now this used to be our main answer. Now this main answer will reduce to a working note, because main answer is going to be this after giving the relief. Final tax liability is what they are asking. They are asking total income and tax. We have to do total income and tax. समझ में आता? So we just have to calculate relief. This time we will have to make working note 1 for calculating our relief under section 91. Are correct bro? Now some are saying, sir, अच्छा relief under section 91. So let's solve. First step NTTI in India. Second step tax in India. ये पागल. Hardworking creatures. We have already completed total income as well as tax. Average rate of tax 9,12,600 divided by 35 lakh 50,000. Are you understanding? So what is the average rate of tax in India? 25.71%. And this compared with foreign rate? If they give you in rupees, you still have to convert it. So that's 13.33%. Therefore, the lower of the two being relief will be, of course, granted to you at 13.33%. But of what? क्या? Oh, बोली बेटा. क्या? 750. 2 lakh का deduction you have taken. That we will give preference against Indian income. To the extent possible, we will allow our foreign income to remain eligible. Correct है क्या नहीं? And therefore we are going to take full 750 here. Hello. Fantastic. Of course, giving you relief of 1 lakh. When you write this 1 lakh here, question over hash, nash. That 1 lakh you have to subtract here and come to this 8,12,600, which is when you can say question. Very understood, bro. Everyone. Concept remains same. Data has increased. So fantastic. Question number 3, please.
An individual resident in India having income earned outside India in a country with which no DTAA exists asks you to explain whether the rate of tax paid over the income in that country will be allowed to him in India.
This is a theory question. You are resident in India and you have paid tax in a foreign country. No DTAA. Will you get credit? Sir, bilateral ka tax credit is not possible because there is no DTAA. But there is another remedy available. What? Unilateral relief, and for that the only relevant condition is clearly checked. What is the only relevant condition? Are you a resident? And therefore, yes, you are going to be eligible for unilateral relief, Indian tax or foreign tax, whichever is lower. If they ask for more number of marks, then you may probably give a small numerical example as well, based on number of marks. If just ask for 2 marks, you say tax credit method not possible because of no DTAA, but unilateral relief under section 91 can be taken as the assessee is assessing. Sure. Question number 4.
The Income Tax Act 1961 provides for taxation of a certain income earned by Mr. X. However, the DTAA which applies to X excludes such income from the purview of tax. Is Mr. X liable to pay tax on the income earned by him? Discuss.
I will not even give you half mark for giving the correct answer. There is an income taxable as per act, but DTAA says don't pay tax. So do you pay tax? Obviously no, because DTAA has come only for granting relief. It would have been difficult if it is the other way around. There is an income which is taxable as per DTAA because the other country is giving you relief, but it is exempt in income tax. Then still no tax, sir. Why? Because whichever is beneficial. Understood? So as per act or as per DTAA, whichever is beneficial. Question number 5.
Arif, a resident both in India and Malaysia in previous 24-25, owns immovable properties including residential house in Malaysia and India. He has earned income of 50 lakhs from rubber estates in Malaysia during the financial year 24-25. He also sold some property in Malaysia, resulting in a short-term capital gain of 10 lakhs during the year. Arif has no permanent establishment of business in India. However, he has derived rental income of 6 lakhs from property let out in India, and he has a house in Lucknow where he stays during his visits to India. The Article 4 of DTAA between India and Malaysia provides that where an individual is resident of both the contracting states, then he shall be deemed to be resident of that contracting state in which he has permanent home available to him. If he has permanent home in both the contracting states, he shall be deemed to be resident of that contracting state with which his personal and economic relations are closer. Center of vital interest. You are required to state with reasons whether the business income of Arif arising in Malaysia and the capital gains in respect of sale of property situated in Malaysia be taxed in India.
Fantastic. I know some are thinking, sir, ये क्या है? Sir, वो Indian, foreign, whichever is low, we are so comfortable with that. Can we continue that, please? Come out of your comfort zone. This question will be divided in 3 parts. Part 1 of the question is Arif ka story. We call them facts. And facts are something that can change person by person. It is this story of Arif. We'll verify whether the data written by me is correct or no based on what is given in the question. But had it been somebody else other than Arif, it could have been different. The income figures given to us could have been different. But yeah, facts can change. The second part of the question, from that line, the Article 4 of the DTAA between India and Malaysia, they have given us the clause of the treaty. That's the law, which is same for all. Facts can change, law remains same. We will examine that as well. And finally, the last line is the actual question. First, identify that. What is the last line? You have to decide whether these incomes which are earned in Malaysia, rubber plantations ka business and short-term capital gain, whether they will be taxable in India. Sir, ordinarily if you observe, he is a resident, that means world income is taxable. But then, he is resident in India and source in Malaysia with respect to these incomes. That means it is a case of double taxation. And if there is double taxation, we will give relief. And bro, this is a case of bilateral relief because there is treaty and they have given the clause of the treaty. You read the treaty and based on treaty, you decide whether these incomes finally will be taxable in India or not. Sir, they are not asking only about this rate. Because they are giving you limited data. See, if they have to ask you about everything, then they have to give you the full treaty. With the data that they have given you, you can answer only this much. So let's see first whether facts of Arif are same. Whether I have written them correctly. Arif has got relationship with India and Malaysia. He is resident at both places. He has house at both places. And income ka amounts are given 50 lakh, 10 lakh, and India में 6 lakh. Is that data correct? That means these are facts of Arif. One more time I tell you, story means facts and facts can change person by person. Then comes the law. The Article 4. Worldwide, in all treaties across the world, Article 4 is also known as the tiebreaker article. Tiebreaker, you understand? Super over. Article 4 is super over. So why? Because if you observe carefully, it's a tie. Arif is a resident at both places. It's a double residence case. And double residence is the most dangerous thing in the life of any assessee. You know why? This income will be taxable in India because of residence and source, and Malaysia also because of residence. This income will be taxable in Malaysia because of residence and source, and India also because of residence. In other words, what is the impact of double residence? I'll tell you. Listen to this. Everything will be taxable everywhere. I repeat, because of double residence, everything will be taxable everywhere. So we have to apply tiebreaker. Tiebreaker means out of these two residences, we'll retain one, cancel the other. We will keep him final resident only at one place as per treaty. And for that they have given treaty. The tiebreaker means cancel residence at one of the two places. Once you apply that, you will be able to answer the final thing. Okay, so let us apply from that place. Facts understood now? Now we go to the law. Article 4 says, where a person is resident at both places, then only Article 4 will apply. The first question is, Arif a resident of both places? So we have to apply tiebreaker, and therefore to apply tiebreaker, what is written further? You have to check. You have to check. Everything is given in the question. We will make him a resident of that place where he has permanent home. See, we are strictly following what is given in the treaty. Permanent home, check. Allah. That has not solved the problem, that has increased the problem. Why? Because he has permanent home at both places. Don't worry. Article has to solve this problem. If he has permanent home at both places, then what is the next step? Matlab, our chronology is first check residence. If double residence, then check home. If double home, then check what? Step by step. They have given next step. Check where his personal and economic relations are closer, center of vital interest. On the basis of that, we will keep him resident. Matlab, step 1, double residence. Step 2, home, double home. Then we have to go and check personal and economic relations. See, personal relations, no, we cannot be sure. We can't be sure, no, Arif has got how many wives in this country. If you don't smile, he is Arif, he can have 4. Oh, too deep, bro. Too deep. His two options are also different. Had it not been Arif, so legally maybe only one spouse. But is it possible that you have your wife in India and your children are studying in Malaysia? So whom are you closer to, wife or children? Who is answering this question? Tum pagal hai? You have brains. You are answering questions of which you have no experience. You can't answer this question. Whom are you closer to, wife or children? The wife. How? You have one. How do you answer that? I have experience. I have one wife and one son. With experience, I'll tell you, you can't actually decide. So we have had a pact, contract here. Both chartered accountants, so we believe in documentation. A contract here. We have had a pact on the basis of which it is decided that the first 5 to 10 years, the son will get preference. Thereafter, he will be busy in his life, and then we give preference to each other. As a pact, contract, signed. You can't decide personal relations. They have not given anything. But as far as economic relations are concerned, the question is loud and clear. His economic relations are closer there. And at the end of the day, this therefore will get cancelled. He remains a resident. This is the tiebreaker. We have strictly followed what they have given in the question, the chronology, with which we conclude what? He is a resident of Malaysia. Correct? Hai? Now it is very easy to answer. About this 60 lakhs. Resident of Malaysia and source also in Malaysia. Indian residence cancelled. And therefore, India may this cannot be taxed. As far as this rental income is concerned, now understand. Residence is where? And income is? Residence in Malaysia. And income in India. So we still don't know where it will be taxed. For that, they have to give us more data from the treaty. They are not giving that data. They are not asking also. Look what they are asking. Whether this income will be taxable in India. No, it won't be because neither residence nor source. You understood how to solve questions on bilateral? Fantastic. Question number. Everyone understood, no? If you have cardiac issues, hypertension, blood pressure, etc., then you can take a break of 45 minutes and come back after 45 minutes. Because question number 6, Mr. Vikas, whom we are waiting for the last 10 years. Vikas aayega, Vikas aayega. Mr. Vikas, is the Gita, Quran, Bible, Agam, Kalpasutra, Guru Granth Sahib, whichever religion you are a believer of. Question 6 is that every chapter we will be having a question which summarizes the entire chapter for us. One day before your exam, it is impossible to solve 2700 questions, but you have to solve 200 questions. You have to today mark what I will solve on the last day. You can't be marking on the last day. You have to prepare for last 1.5 days today. And this question, if solved, it's a revision of DTW. Mr. Vikas, 1, 2, 3, start please.
Mr. Vikas, aged 60 years, a resident is deriving following incomes in India, country A and country B. Compute the total income and tax liability, assuming that India does not have DTAA with foreign countries. Ignore AMT provisions. Indian income from business in Mumbai 9,20,000. Interest on savings account 64,000. Income in country A tax rate 12%. Agricultural income 72,000. Royalty income 8 lakhs. Expenses for earning royalty income 70,000. Income in country B tax rate 23%. Dividend income 2,25,000. Rent from house in country B 3,30,000. Municipal taxes paid for above house 10,000.
Some are thinking, sir, abhi aage. At the beginning of the question itself, they have clarified, calculate total income and tax liability. Correct? So much data is given. Profession income, interest income, royalty income. If you start thinking about everything together, it will be confusing. The idea is, do one thing. We are solving NTTI now. Okay, so write NTTI, because once you write NTTI, your task becomes a little easy. All you are required to do is one by one search for various heads of income. And this time, because question is specific, we will be solving it on a head by head basis. Let me give you the start here. Assessee is an individual, so salary is possible. So check kar. Nahi hai. If it is not there, then don't write. See, we write all the income which he has earned. But if he has not earned, we will not write it. We will go ahead. Next head of income is house property. Now, while they have removed the salary and house property, that way from your syllabus, but they can always ask them as adjustments in a question like DTAA, NRI taxation, political party. In a lot of chapters, you will find question of that chapter, but adjustment of house property. For example, here, he has got income from house property. And in DTAA question, also mention the country in the bracket so that you know whether it is doubly tax income. For example, this property income is earned in country B, having a tax rate of 23%. How much? 3,30,000 in the outer column. No, bro. That means you don't even know the basics of taxation, that whenever there is any expenditure incurred, it is going to be allowed as a deduction. So we have some municipal taxes that we have paid in house property. Municipal taxes are allowed only if they are paid. Rupees 10,000. And outer column we will write 3,20,000. Rubbish. This is gross annual value, ladies and gentlemen. So question is on DTAA and it is checking whether you have knowledge of standard deduction under house property at a rate of 30%. What is standard deduction on house property? Salary mate is 50,000, but house property mate is given in percentage form. So standard deduction of house property. How much, bro? करो रे 96,000, giving you in the outer column. How you do it? Standard deduction of 96,000 and final answer income from house property. Outer column 2,24,000. Everyone done? Next, I don't know. I don't want to know what you're writing on the paper. I want to know what is going on in your mind. I want to know what is your mind telling you. चल अभी ये because question is not over. So what is your mind telling you? You tell me. क्या करने का? Go to next head of income, PGBP. Fantastic. So go to PGBP. Check if the taxpayer has got PGBP. है नहीं है? He does. Income in the form of business. Income from profession in India. मुंबई है ना? हाँ. 1 second please. Standard deduction of 30%, giving you 96,000, and in the outer column we have 2 lakh. ये correct है? Next head of income is profits and gains of business or profession. He has got profession in Mumbai. Mumbai is India, bro. So outer column I will write how much? 9 lakh. Now at this stage a good student will ask me a doubt. बोला सर इसमें कुछ wrong है सर. Sir, what is the mistake here? Sir, the mistake is that he has got other businesses as well. So you can't be writing one income, no? You will have to write all. What are your other incomes that are given to you? They have given you income in the form of royalty. So let me be clear. Royalty will always go under income from other sources, because in royalty income you are not actively involved after invention. So yes, it is taxable, but it will go in IFOS. And one more thing. Agriculture. Now the moment a student says, sir, agriculture business, other student interrupts, hey, pagal, agriculture is exempt. No bro, you pagal, because the student is right. Agriculture income is exempt only if it is earned in India. Only if it is earned in India. The section which exempts agriculture income, if you may allow to quote it, rent or revenue from land in India used for agriculture purposes. This is foreign agriculture income. So it is going to be taxable. I'll make you write a note on this. Don't worry. Pehle sun lo, listen. Taxable. But foreign agriculture income, you have brains, it can be taxable only for residents. Use your brain. Let digest this. Foreign agriculture income can be taxable only for residents. Why? Because for non-resident we can't tax foreign income. See, Indian agriculture income exempt for everyone. Foreign income, non-resident we cannot tax. No residence, no source. So foreign agriculture income can be taxable only for resident. And Mr. Vikas is resident. So yes, it is taxable income, the foreign agriculture income that is given. But then last twist, that section 56, the charging section of IFOS says that a resident normally stays in India. He will rarely go outside India. So if he is having income outside India, it can't be his main source. We assume it is other sources. That's a wrong assumption, because you can have staff doing agriculture. You don't have to be actively involved in business every day, unless you are Sachin Tendulkar who has to run for his own runs. He can't keep staff. Hello. Agriculture you can do by keeping staff? No. But it is assumed that it will be side income. And therefore we will tax it. It will come in the computation, but under income from other sources. You understood? So therefore in PGBP we are left with only this income. Royalty will also come, and agriculture outside India will also come, both under other sources. If I'll make you write a note on the agriculture part. See, royalty will come in IFOS. On the agriculture part. This note you will not write in this question, because it is not a note of this question. It is general knowledge on taxation. So what you can do is, somewhere at the end of your notebook, you make a special page. Like you leave about 3-4 sides Special notes on direct tax, which are general notes. These are not chapter specific or question specific notes. General knowledge on direct tax. And every time we come across a point like that, we will go to that page and write a note. So today is the first time we are making general notes on direct tax. You may write this, please. Agriculture income is going to be exempt only if in India. You should know how to write in short. Don't start making proper grammatical notes. Agriculture income will be exempt only if the income is earned in India. Agriculture income exempt, you can put a dash, only if in India. Continuing the note. Outside India, it is going to be taxable only for resident and dash karke IFOS. So you have done everything required. Agriculture income exempt only if in India. Outside India is going to be taxable, but taxable only for resident and taxable under income from other sources. Is that understood, everyone? Agriculture income shall be exempt only if it is earned in India. If earned outside India, it is going to be taxable and it is going to be taxable under income from other sources. Bro, clear hai? Not a part of this chapter, general knowledge on tax. So, last question. Will royalty and agriculture both come in this computation? But under IFRS. So, right now we go ahead. Next head of income, capital gain. Not there. So, quickly we go to IFRS. Now, IFRS is basically checking the full question start to end, to ensure we have not missed anything. Because anything that we have not written will come here. Start se shuru karo. First, they have given you Indian income. In that, business we have written. Next, saving account interest. Fantastic. Rupees 64,000. Inner column, no, because we have multiple incomes. Next, country AMA. Country AMA, what do we have? Agriculture income. Now, this time we know we are writing here agriculture country A rate of tax 12%. Rupees 8 lakhs. 72,000. 8 lakh to royalty. Rupees 72,000. ठीक है. Next income. Royalty is also country A only. Royalty country A again 12%. How much income? 8 lakh. Oh wait, but here we will write 8 lakh minus 70,000 because basic principle of income tax, expenditure incurred for the purpose of earning income is always going to be allowed as a deduction. ये समझा? हाँ. And anything else? Yes. Dividend from country B, taxable at 23%. Rupees 2 lakh 25,000, giving you total of your IFOS as mental maths. 10 lakh 91,000. And giving you this total of all the heads of income: 1091 plus 920 plus 2 lakh 24, 22 lakh 35,000. What do I call this? Entity? Now today only I taught you about royalty. So at least that mistake now you can't be making. Yes, I know that you don't know ATQ, but I taught you. So now you should be knowing that there is chapter 6 a deduction. First, 80 QQB. How much? 3 lakh. Because royalty here is 730, so we can take 3 lakh. Had this royalty been lower than 3 lakh, so we will restrict to that. So final answer NTTI is going to be 19 lakh 35,000. Yes or no? No. 3 lakh rupees is just one of the deduction. You have got one more deduction, and for this I will not give you benefit of doubt. You should know this. You should know this. ATTT. Rubbish! Mr. Vikas. Lava. Suno, when question says no, Mr. Vikas, resident 60 years, what do you expect? That after they say resident 60 years, they will open a bracket in the question and say, तो बेटा ध्यान रखना, this is senior citizen So don't give 80 TTA, give 80 TTB, close the bracket, continue the question. I hope. No, they have given what is required. It is now your burden to identify, and this is the problem with direct tax. Samjha? So it won't be a case of 80 TTA. Senior citizen resident will go in 80 TTB. And listen, 80 TTA, TTB ka limits are different. That is fine. TTA mein you will get 10,000. Here you will get 50. Provided this is exceeding that limit. See, if this was 4,000, no. Then whether you write TTA or TTB, answer will be 4 only. It is this amount or 10,000, whichever is lower in TTA. Yeah, this amount or 50,000, whichever is lower in TTB. Oh, wait. There is another twist. Yeah, you understood that this is only for senior citizen? No. Resident senior citizen. If it is non-resident senior citizen, so deduction allowed hai. Lower limit. But this is resident senior citizen. Wait, last twist. Last twist. TTA is given against saving only. But TTB is given. Had this been FD, no? Saving ki jagah pe, if this was FD interest, this 64,000, we would have still given the deduction here. Kya hai bhai? Chhutti aane wala chalna. You all don't have office today, no? I'm just asking. If this was FD, still you will get the deduction. The first question that we did, Mr. Rohit, he also had FD interest, but we did not give deduction because Rohit will get deduction only if saving. TTA case. You don't assume he's senior citizen. You understood or no? That is the expectation of direct tax. You should be able to identify the trick of the question. So here your total deductions, bro, 3,50,000. Do you understand? Will bring you to your net taxable total income of 18,85,000. Hello, but bro, there is one more entity as per new regime. Check karo. In house property, I have not taken any benefit which is not allowed. LOP mein deductions are allowed. SOP may not. In 115 BAC. Business mein to directly they have given the amount. In IFOS, I have taken deduction of expenses. Expenses are allowed. Hello? Then means the only thing which is not allowed is Chapter 6A, 3,50,000, and therefore 22,35,000 will be NTTI as per new regime. We will have to do both, no, like we did in our second example until the end. So therefore, we will now have to calculate tax as per old regime on 18,85,000 and tax as per new regime on 22,35,000. ये correct है? चलो, give me both liabilities. 8,85,000 into 30% plus 1,12,500. Huh?
1,00,000.
For those who said it is TTA, you will make one more mistake. 1,12,500. I assume you are not so stupid that in slabs you remember senior citizen, but TTB you don't remember. If you make the mistake, you will make the mistake at both places. Here it will be 1,10,000. So 885 into 30% plus 1,10,000 plus 4% gives you how much? 3,90,520. And what about new regime? 7,35,000 into 30%. अरे 15 लाख no? So 735 into 30% plus 1 lakh senior citizen. Everyone say 1,40,000 plus 4%. Please give me this answer. 374. Everyone be careful because see this year the answer is different from last year. Last year it was 735 into 30 plus 1,50,000. No, slabs have changed. I have changed the printed answer, but you also have to be making sure that is this correct? Therefore, can we move to our next step, average rate of tax as per old regime and as per new regime? Two decimals, please, both places. 3,90,520 divided by 18,85,000 and 3,74,920 divided by 22,35,000. 20.72. $16.7. This now what do we do? What is the next step? Compare with the foreign rate. So now this is a case where we are doing two regimes in India and two countries in foreign. So we have no problem. We have country A 12% and we have country B 23%. So now what we will compare? Country by country, regime by regime. Someone like क्या बोल रहे हैं? अच्छा wait, I'll explain how. Lower rate में we first decide for old regime. Old regime में country A 12 or 12.7, 12, and country B 23 or 23 or 20.7, 20. Now you understood country by country, regime by regime. Chal, you tell me new regime comparison. Country A 12 or 16.77, so 12, and country B 16.77. ये clear है? And finally, if we have to calculate our relief under section 91, old regime, new regime. Hello, country A का income, country B का income, new regime also, country A income, country B income. Rates we have decided.
Yes.
12%, 20.72%, 12%, and 16.77%. Fantastic. Everybody is understanding, no? That place where you have to take maximum care, that place where there is maximum likelihood of going wrong, aram se peacefully focus and check. In country A, as per the question, how many incomes he has got? Royalty income and agriculture income. Correct. Agriculture income is rupees 72,000 and royalty income is rupees 8 lakh. That means, can I say we will write 8 lakh 72,000 here? No. So what we will write? That is what we have to tell you. You can do your calculation, take your time, but give me the correct answer. 5 lakh 2. How, sir? Check करते हैं. We have got 8 lakh plus 72. But against this 8 lakh, not against any other income, but this income, we have taken one deduction of expense. See, if you take deduction of expense also, then that much you have paid less tax. And you've also taken deduction of 3 lakh. So excellent. Yes, it is 5 lakh 2,000 per 12%. Correct है? 1 minute. New regime में, it will be easy to write the incomes first. Same only, no? 5 lakh 2,000? No. New regime में we will remove this and take it 72. नहीं, 70,000 का expense का deduction we have still taken. So what's the only deduction that we have not taken? Which means this is going to be 8 lakh and 2,000. Understood, can I? And now let's talk about country B. You have earned what incomes there? Dividend of 2 lakh 25 and rent of 3 lakh 35. So can we write 550, 3 lakh 30? So 555 both places. Yes, bolo ya no bolo na. I speak any nonsense. You can give the correct answer, then give. Will we take 330 ka rent? No, because in India we have taken tax benefit. We've taken tax benefit of municipal taxes. We've taken tax benefit of standard deduction. So effectively we have paid double tax only on. And therefore it is only going to be 224 plus 225, which is 4 lakh 49,000. And mind you, guys, here also it is going to be 4 lakh 49,000. Because here there is no difference in Indian tax or foreign tax. You clear here? Give me the relief. 502 into 12% M plus 449 into 20.72% M plus MS. You know how to use memory button? नहीं, asking to. Capital budgeting किया होगा 0.909826753658 10% IRR. You are not surprised that I know financial management. CA, bro. Total of old regime. Hmm.
न्यू में 96 टू 93,000 75 to 87.
Give me the total administration.
153.
अरे बोल देखो you all know after today we are going to have a gap and in this gap you persuade your office juniors to watch the 6 lectures on YouTube. It's a very important homework that I am giving you, so we can't leave before completing the questions of this chapter. You complete the questions in 10 minutes and I leave you. You complete the questions in 1 hour and I leave you. Take your time आराम से. Okay, answer this after 5 minutes. I'm waiting. अभी कितना आया एफिशिएंसी 170 171 537. ये कौन सा पॉइंट? हे भगवान, लेजेंड है लेजेंड. Understood? Therefore, now if we go to our final tax, as per old, as per new, 3,90,520 minus 153 273, and in new regime 374 920 है ना, minus 171 537, giving you in the old regime. Take your time आराम से. Hmm. Two lakh 3,383 is that? Of course, we will advise the assessee to opt for new regime. Understood? Understood how the question of Mr. Vikas, if practiced on the last day, can have a test of multiple variations for you. It can serve as, I repeat, the Gita, Quran, Bible, Agam, Kalpa Sutra, Guru Granth Sahib, of whichever religion you are a believer of. Unless you are an atheist. Atheist समझता है? Non-believer, Nastik. Oh, करो. Everyone clear? Question number 7, please. 3 more questions. 7, 8, 9.
A resident SSC earned a foreign income of 78,800, out of which 50% is eligible for deduction under Chapter 6A of Income Tax Act. The foreign income was also subjected to tax deduction at source in the foreign country, with which India had no agreement for avoidance of double taxation. The SSC claimed relief under Section 91 of Income Tax Act in respect of mode of foreign income. Discuss the contention of the SSC with reference to the provisions of Income Tax Act.
Is the contention, the claim of the assessee valid as per law? You have earned foreign income, but out of that 50% ka you've taken deduction. So in your NTTI only half is included, but you want relief on full. You'll get relief only on doubly tax income included in NTTI. Question number 8.
Cosmos Limited, a company incorporated in Mauritius, has a branch office in Hyderabad, opened in April 2024. The Indian branch has filed a return of income for assessment year 25-26, disclosing income of 50 lakhs. It paid tax at the rate of domestic company, that is 30% plus cess on the basis of para 2 of Article 24 non-discrimination of double taxation avoidance agreement between India and Mauritius, which reads as follows. The taxation on a permanent establishment which an enterprise of a contracting state has in the other contracting state shall not be less favorably levied in that other state than the taxation levied on enterprises of that other state carrying on same activities in the same circumstances. However, the AO computed tax on the Indian branch at the rate applicable to foreign country, that is 35% plus cess. is the action of AO in accordance with law.
हे प्रभु, हे हरिराम, प्रेमानंद, ये क्या है? Sir, Indian tax, foreign tax, whichever is lower. Sir, we are missing that. Sir, please. Which part of the chapter is this question from, please? Question is from which part? That is what I asked. Discrimination and non-discrimination. Bilateral relief, non-discrimination. We have promised non-discrimination. We have promised your people will not be less favorably taxed. Mark the words. Not tax less favorable matlab we are not going to be doing any discrimination against your people. Non-discrimination. Still the assessing officer levied foreign company ka tax. 35 is printed, no? Amendment is printed, no? 14 is 35. So assessing officer is not giving you the benefit. But corporate assessees are ineligible for non-discrimination benefit and therefore the action of the AO to levy 35% is correct. Understood? Question 9.
Samira India Limited has turnover exceeding 400 crores every year. For the previous year 24-25, the following incomes are noted from the audited books of accounts of the taxpayer. Income from business in India 28 lakhs. Income from business in a foreign country with whom India has a DTA agreement 21,60,000. According to DTA agreement, 21,60,000 is taxable in India. However, it is also to be taxed in foreign country at 11.85%, which can be set off against Indian tax liability. Find out the Indian tax liability for the assessment year 25-26. Ignore section 115 BAA BAB.
Ignore BAA BAB मतलब what? मतलब ignore means what? Assessee is in old regime. When the assessee is in old regime, they have also correspondingly given you, because old regime ka tax rate depends on turnover. So the turnover has always exceeded. So these two lines together make us come to a conclusion that this company will be subjected to income tax rate of 30% on 28 lakh ke 21 lakh. Both, because resident, the world income will be taxable. That means 28 lakh as well as 21 lakh, both will be subjected to tax of 30%. Which part of the chapter is this question from? Bilateral, because there is a treaty. Under bilateral, which part? Come on. Under bilateral, which part? Come on. Tax credit method. Sir, why? Because that country will levy tax 11.85. That is not going to be exempt. But what we will do is, India is going to give you credit of what you have paid. Over there, you must have paid tax at 11.5. You can adjust that against your Indian tax liability. When it comes to bilateral relief, the question. First, they will tell you which country will give credit. Second, they will also tell you how much credit and the fact that it is tax credit, not tax exemption. Everything. But of course, we will have to start with NTTI. NTTI, plain and simple, is going to be nothing but 28 and 21. That's 49 lakh rupees. On this NTTI, what is going to be your tax in India at a rate of 30%? How, sir? Old regime, more than 400 crore, 30%, 14 lakh. No. How much is it? 1488 49 lakh 60,000. अच्छा तो 21 and 21 point 49 lakh 60,000. This was right. Ratta perfect. 14 lakh 88. Wrong answer. क्या? How? Plus 10% surcharge. Fantastic. How? देखो, I would have left you 20 minutes earlier the moment this question got over. But look at how sincere our student here is, how disciplined she is. Nahi, sir, why leave early? So I will consume some time of yours. So if today I'm not leaving you early, I would have. So all thanks to her. What's your name? Supriya. Why 10% surcharge? बस सर मन हुआ, कंपनी है तो ले लो. Listen, surcharge will come if the income would have exceeded 50 lakhs. Yes or no? No! कंपनी में आफ्टर 1 करोड़, अरे यार, वेलकम टू डायरेक्ट टैक्स, एवरी टाइम यू थिंक यू आर राइट, every time you think you are wrong. So no, if this was individual, still no surcharge. But if this was individual more than 50 lakh, then 10% surcharge. Company still no surcharge. 49 पे तो saying surcharge for company is a big mistake. If it was more than 1 crore, then we will add. कितना percent surcharge? 7%. So 2 is foreign income. And if this income was more than 10 crore, then we would have added for individuals 37. If this was individual and this was more than 10 crore, so 37. Partnership firm 10 crore cross की, domestic company 2%, 12%. नॉन डोमेस्टिक कंपनी, मेरे को चक्कर आ रहा, सरचार्ज अभी क्वेश्चन ही कुछ नहीं पूछा. व्हाट आर यू आंसरिंग? किसका आंसर यू वर गिविंग? आई फिनिश्ड ऑल डोमेस्टिक नॉन डोमेस्टिक. नाउ यू वर सेइंग 5 फॉर हु? माय क्वेश्चंस वर ओवर. सुनो, आई गिव यू वन टास्क नाउ दैट यू हैव a big gap. So if I have to be specific, next lecture will be on 16th of September, Monday, and 17th again we will have to keep an offer beyond control, but we will have to, because 17th Mumbai ka all roads will be blocked. Vehicle movement is not possible. Morning mein so it is still possible, but after finishing your lecture it is not. I have to go home also, no? So that I can come on 18th. And the area from where I come, it is very difficult entry exit in that area itself. So yes, 17th को again there will be no lecture. Now don't have false hopes. तो फिर सर डायरेक्ट 18 से ही चालू करो ना. अभी एक दिन में क्या हो जाएगा सर? Look at your faces, look at your smiles. You want the lecture on 16th, right? Thank you. Okay. ऐसा नहीं कि you work in corporate तो sick leave और वो सब मत करना. ऐसा नहीं, you make me give the lecture but you are like छोड़ना अभी one day again holiday तो गावी जातो. No bro, so listen, I'll give you a task because you have a gap and you have absolutely nothing to do. You're free people in life. कुछ नहीं है bro, forget it. Pick up a blank piece of paper, just like I did for your new regime ka tax benefits to be foregone. How many people have done that exercise? Go through the list, then gap of 2 days, then try to do at least 50% also. That means you are ready. A similar task. Go through all the surcharge taught to you in the introduction ka chapter. Everything. Then after gap of 2 or 3 days, on a blank piece of paper, individual ka different levels ka surcharge, firms ka different levels, domestic company different levels, non-domestic different levels, new regime, all these assesses, everything studied in surcharge. How much of that you are able to do on your own, and how much of that is correct also. Like that, so you can do everything on your own. It has to be correct also. That's a big task. And you know what? Till now we have not done chapters like MAT, AMT because there is some surcharge in those chapters also. But in the introduction itself, we have completed full old regime, new regime. At least first try you do. After MAT, AMT, that additional part you can add in that page. It will work as revision of entire surcharge at one place. Let me see how many do everything fully right. You do it and you show it to me, I'll check it for you. But if you don't do it only, then what can I do? My effort can be only adjusted as per your effort, which is what I always want you all to understand. That the day you guys stop participating, then I am going to be paid in any case. I have to take interest provided you are interested. So please remain interested so that we can together achieve the success that we desire. भले फिर exam के बाद में you inform or no के sir I have passed. From other sources I come to know के pass हो गया वो. So चलो I leave that choice to you also. I have stopped keeping expectations altogether with recent experiences. But at least before exam, so let's work together. And I am already a CA with membership number. So whatever be your result, my membership number will remain. And I am going to get paid to complete your batch, whether you pass or not. So the burden is on you to pass. I am ready to support you. समझा? सरचार्ज का ऐसा मिस्टेक यू कैन बी डूइंग. ये 10 minutes का कल्प्रिट ओनली यू कैन रिकवर दिस 10 minutes फ्रॉम हर लेटर. I was not going to have this discussion. Just add cess and finish it. But somewhere, cess add किया कि नहीं? ऐसा नहीं she added cess बोला cess का मूड नहीं. No. हाँ. This is your total tax. Why total tax and not final tax? Because from this we will give tax credit of 11.85, and obviously 11.85 because it is lower than Indian tax. Had this foreign rate been say 40%, so obviously you can be getting relief of higher than what you are paying in India. 49,60,000 into 11.85%, yes or no? Huh? No, bro. It has to be 21.6 lakh because only the doubly taxed amount. Correct, है?
247.
अरे जो भी है bro, give me this final tax. 255. See, pressing buttons on your calculator like collect percentage, correct amount. You have to multiply when multiplication is required. You can't be adding or dividing. You don't press wrong buttons. अब बीजेपी को वोट जाएगा फिर. You press buttons correctly, please. It's not correct. क्या बोल रहे हैं? What is the relief? तुम बोल दो. My fault. You just say, sir, नहीं हाँ. Why are you leaving early? बात हुआ है. Don't leave us before 10 o'clock. 255,960 tax credit, and some were getting this as the final answer. Just what I told you in the first question. Okay, these are the mistakes which people make. 1291. First time in last so many years I have come up to this amount. I do till this, then I write these particulars, and I tell students that this much you will be able to complete. Thank you for letting me know that that assumption was also wrong. Now everyone is getting this. That was your last question. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Deviyo Sajjano Mitro, that becomes the end of our chapter number 2, double taxation relief with question. Oh, movers and packers. No packing when I am talking. Nahi to fir abhi bhi I have 10 minutes. Okay. So that's the end of your chapter DTAA. Thank you very much.